Start.
Yep. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the season finale, the championship race of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. Tonight, we will crown an inaugural champion here in this series, and I am joined by my man Carlos Acosta. I am William Tiller, and we've been bringing you this live coverage all season long here on 3Y TV. And Carlos, coming into this championship race, we had a bit of breaking news information that Tom Ogle, who's been racing very strong here the past couple weeks, currently second in that points table, has come down with an illness and unfortunately will not be racing with us here tonight. But Carlos, we are still in for a great season finale here tonight, and especially from this man right here, Joshua Robinson in that 30 machine has the best shot at claiming that championship here tonight.
Yeah, Tom Ogle coming in second. I'm sure he's definitely upset and, well, obviously not feeling well, considering that he's sick, but going to be very upset that he's not going to be able to have a shot to win the championship tonight. That opens up the door for Robinson, who had, 3-point disadvantage to Tom Ogle. Now is only 20 points behind the race leader. So, still going to be a difficult challenge for Tom Ogle. As long as Paul Hemus has a good drive, he should be golden to win this first championship.
Yeah, and what a season has been here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing. We've been to all sorts of tracks, short tracks, road courses, ovals, you name it, Carlos. But tonight, it's the season finale. We will crown a champion. Of course, looking back on this season, we just saw Joshua Robinson's run right there. Looks like he's going to be just inside the top 5 with that qualifying run. But looking back on this season, we had Nick Delicato, who had about 6 or 7 wins during that regular season. Comes into these playoffs. Actually, Joshua Robinson in that 30 is going to claim the top spot right there with a 33-126, deadlocked with Johnny Eckert there at the top. But looking back, we had Nick Delicato dominate coming into the playoffs. He faltered. Actually, is way out of it now in this finale race. It's been dominated by Darth Vader there at Barrett Paul Hemus, but we've seen guys underneath Barrett that have kind of climbed their way up that points table. Here tonight, I think it's really anybody's race.
That's well said. And well, we only have an 11-car field tonight. And so that means, like last week, every driver but one will be getting bonus points for finishing the stage in the top 10. Also, every driver but Sam Brochu will be getting a bonus point, period, for qualifying in the top 10. So, that right there. Let's see. Paul Hemus was not able to out-qualify the 30 of Joshua Robinson, which means that 20-point advantage. Oh wait, it doesn't matter because it's just 1 point regardless of who's where. So never mind, ignore what I was about to say. But you know what? Why don't we go through the grid here?
Yes, sir. Here we go. This is.
Alright, sorry about that, guys. We had a small issue with OBS, just a small little crash, but we are back now. Now, Will, what was it that you were telling me?
Yeah, so we just said Sam Brochu is going to be the last car starting off here tonight in that 23 machine. But I was going to say, Carlos, we look at the two guys right there on your screen, folks, if you're watching live with us here on 3Y TV. Two different scenarios here. We have Barrett Paul Hemus at 79, who basically all he has to do tonight is cruise around this track here tonight, take in the sights that is South Beach, and he gets the championship. But then we look at Joshua Robinson in that 30. What do you think it's going to take for Joshua to get this championship here tonight?
He's going to need a lot of bad luck from Paul Hemus. Robinson's going to need to, for sure, outpoint Paul Hemus quite by a large distance, I should say. So it's going to be very difficult, but it's not impossible. Paul Hemus is a bad beginning of the race. It's entirely possible that Robinson could end up winning and then also winning the championship.
Yeah, let's see here tonight as this pace car takes us around corner number 4. We're about to get this thing on and popping here in South Beach like Mr. 305 would love here tonight as the green flag is in the air for the final time here tonight. We are down into corner number 1 in the season finale of the championship race in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League.
I'm going to point out DJ Weeks started tonight's race in the pit, so he's still there right now. He just left his box. So 10 drivers started tonight's race on the track as intended. DJ Weeks was unable to do that. But whoa, what happened there?
Already got some cars squeezing on the wall. Oh! Some cars already making contact on the entry of 4 right there. It's not what you want to see to start off this race. It looks like Lynch and DeBarro are tagged up there very early on. That looked like on the apex of 1 and 2, they get tagged up with each other there, Carlos. And those cars are now going to be on the tail end of that. You see John DeBarro is actually a chase driver there. A lot of damage to that race car.
Let's see what happened here. When he exited the corner, it looks like, I believe that's either DeBarro maybe didn't expect Lynch to be there, or I should say Lynch didn't expect DeBarro to be there, I should say it's the other way around. And they made contact going into the corner, and that actually kind of pretty much lasted the whole back straightaway.
Yeah, that was an early tag up there. We get back to the live action on the track here at Homestead. You see they're already, another car into the wall there off of 2. Hard impact there on the backstretch. That looks like the 08 right there. Buffoli.
Oh, yeah, let's see what happened here. Is it a similar situation, or did the 08 just push it too hard exiting the corner?
Looks like he went way mid on that corner. Yeah.
He got loose exiting the corner. It's kind of what we saw in the early stages of the season, where cars were getting snappy loose on the outside of the corners for seemingly no reason. I'm not saying that there wasn't a reason here this time by, but Buffoli's just like Lynch is down in pit road already, less than 5 laps into this race.
Yeah, back up to the top of the grid right now after those early incidents here. No yellow flag on the racetrack. We had Barrett Jimenez at the top of the grid. David Westergreen right there battling. We also have Johnny Eckert, Riley Marabello up there. Joshua Robinson has slid down to about the 6th position now on the racetrack, off the pace of these top 5 cars right here as we're down into 1 and 2. Right now we are 3 wide on the exit of 2 to this backstretch right now. David Westergreen on the outside is going to lead the way with Johnny Eckert right behind him in that number 9 machine as we dig down into corner number 3. Johnny Eckert goes to the inside of the 22. Looks like we have another battle for the lead on the apex of 3 and 4.
Johnny Eckert doing Johnny Eckert things. Surprisingly, in this league, he's very well known to be making a lot of mistakes here, also getting a lot of bad luck. This league has been a curse in terms of Johnny Eckert for the way he drives and handles his races. Just a lot of mistakes, a lot of bad incidents, a lot of bad luck. But right now, early at Homestead, it's the perfect time to turn the season around, finish the season strong, and go into next season on a hot streak.
Yeah, Johnny Eckert's trying to pick up where he belongs. Just as you mentioned, Carlos, you've seen him in the past couple weeks not really racing what we expected out of that number 90 machine. Unfortunately, he had to retire early last week as well. But here tonight, in the season finale, he is back to doing Johnny Eckert things, as you mentioned there, down into 1 and 2. He is our clear leader, now separating from David Westergreen in that 22 machine. But as we have this break in the action, do want to break down the format for the folks at home here tonight. Stage 1 will be 35 laps. We'll race it down for another 35 at stage 2 will be 70, and then we have a long haul to the end to make it 134. Folks, if you're not familiar with the format of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League, there's no yellow flags at the end of the stage. Of course, we'll award bonus points. We'll probably moniker that driver up on the grid as well, but no break in the action. We keep it flowing here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. Also, no fast repairs for these drivers here tonight, so if you take any damage, as we saw about 3 cars there early on in this race took damage, probably won't see them back out on the track. These drivers will have 1 set of tires on these machines here tonight and 3 sets in the garage. Also rocking with a 75% fuel capacity.
We have an issue here where there's a clear mix match between the actual race notes presser and the actual race session today. It must have been an accident, or the race notes that we have are outdated, but it shows the race should be 134 laps, but we're showing 150 laps here tonight in this session.
Oh, very interesting there. We'll have to check with race control to see what the exact amount of laps is, because if not, that changes the stage racing a little bit as well, Carlos.
It sure does. Let me go ahead and send them a message to get the clear it up. Why don't you go ahead and keep on talking about what's out there?
Yeah, we'll keep on trucking, folks, and we'll get that information for you at home so you can follow along here on 3 Wide TV. But right now we have Johnny Eckert still in the race lead. Now the battle behind him is trying to climb up to that top of the grid. We have David Westergreen. We have Barrett Polhemus right there. Sam Brochu, a.k.a. Luke Skywalker, is right there as well. Riley Marbello is in the mix right there as well in that 52 machine. We haven't seen Riley really rise up to the occasion just yet here in these playoffs. Unfortunately, he's going to miss out on the playoffs as he is non-chase driver, but we've seen these playoffs being dominated by non-chase drivers here this season. But right now, David Westergreen leads this pack of cars, trying to climb up to Johnny Eckert, whose lead's just getting bigger and bigger as these laps tick down. He has about a 1.5 seconds lead on David Westergreen. You see that awesome shot there down the backstretch here in beautiful Miami. Right now, David Westergreen's going to lead this second pack down to the corner. Barrett Polhemus is trying to get around him. Sam Brochu's to the inside there in that 23 machine, trying to get around Barrett, and that 79. Barrett goes to the high side here off of 4. They're side by side coming off of 4.
I can't believe this, but I messaged Race Control, knowing that, Johnny Eckert's out there racing. He's probably not going to reply to me. I messaged, are we racing to 150 or 134? Johnny Eckert himself, as he's leading the race, just replies 150.
Of course he does. He wants as many laps on the track here tonight as possible as he takes us down to 3 and 4 as our race leader. But Carlos, a lot of movement here in this second pack. A lot of drivers that want to get up there and put some pressure on Johnny.
It'll be interesting to see what happens as the sun sets, because, this race is 20 odd laps longer than I'm assuming we expected, unless there was just a mistake on the presser. It was always supposed to be 150 laps. But the cars are handling like they are right now, and this is a fixed setup, so the only thing that changes between drivers is just their approach and their handling style. And that's enough to get clear advantages and disadvantages based on weather and temperature. So the sun goes down, I expect to see some of these guys that maybe aren't running as strong start running better, and maybe seeing some of these guys that are running strong maybe take a little dip in performance.
Yeah, right now you see this pack of cars. This is basically, you're looking at 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the mix here. They're just kind of interchanging positions here on lap 14. But Carlos, you're a little bit more familiar with this racetrack than I am. It's a little bit closer to you here in Florida. My track would probably be the closest one to me, be Daytona. I'm actually in the middle of the 2 tracks, right in the center of the state here. But Carlos, how do you win at a track like this? It looks like a track that you can basically just let off on the corners, not much braking being involved here tonight, but where are the passes going to take place?
Passes are going to take place, I'm assuming, entering and or exit of the corner. And to answer actually the first question you asked me, you gotta get that momentum going. This is a momentum based track. It doesn't matter if you're running the inside or the outside or the middle. You need to carry that momentum with you. If you check up, you overdrive the corner, you underdrive the corner, whatever it is you do, you lose that momentum and you lose massive time. This is a track where you don't want to do that, especially nowadays where these cars have less horsepower than they did 10 years ago. So you can't afford to make mistakes in the corner. You can't afford to check up. And well, you got to see how you're gonna pass people is you have to take a different line than them, and you have to hope that the line that they give you is the line that you're good at. So if you drive it in the corner too deep on the inside, that you may make a pass like that, maybe shoot all the way up to the outside, or on the outside carry the momentum all the way through the exit of the corner and be able to just slingshot past them around that time.
Yeah, Carlos, and this is a track that has stood the test of time throughout all the series. When it was the Nextel Sprint Cup, when it was the Winston Series, to all these different changing of the names and everything, Homestead Miami Speedway has always lingered. What makes this track so special?
The atmosphere. You come into this track, you take a look at the scenery, you take a look at what's around you, both in and out of the track. You race the track, how beautiful it is, and the momentum base, and the fact that it's progressive banking, you can go everywhere. Whoa, Johnny Eckert's having issues, lost the lead to Polhemus.
Yeah, as we were chatting there, Johnny Eckert's now lost some speed there, Carlos. Big changes now up at the top of the lead. This second pack has closed the gap with that had about a gap of about 2 seconds now. Johnny Eckert's losing pace big time here. I wonder what's going wrong with that number 90 machine.
I wonder indeed. We're only 18 laps into this race, And Eckert's already lost quite a handful of time. Let's see if we can take a look at just his lap. Oh, he's struggling there. We saw him exit the corner. That was pretty weird. Let's take a look at first, second, and now Johnny Eckert, who's fourth in their lap history. And you can tell a massive dip in performance as Paul Hemus and Brochu are running about 4 to 5 tenths of a second faster. And Eckert's just unable to keep up right now. It could be that he overdrove his cars. Whoa! Paul Hemus is now having issues in the lead.
Yeah, Paul Hemus there as our points leader coming into this race. We just saw him get incredibly loose. That caused Sam Brochu to basically hit the brakes. Yeah, Sam Brochu hit the brakes there, had to slide away from the 79 to make sure there was no contact made. Now you have Sam Brochu to the inside of Johnny Eckert there. This is a battle for about the third position right now. Sam Brochu's going to go right in front of that number 90 machine down into corner number 3. We're going to watch this replay here on 3Wide TV.
We were on board with the number 90 Johnny Eckert when this happened. And it was Sam Brochu that got loose. It wasn't Paul Hemus, so I do apologize for that. I guess he just gave it too much beans on the exit of the corner. Put the gas down and the tires broke through. You know, that's actually something else I was gonna mention. You gotta battle the elements here, and you're probably wondering, well, it's Miami. What elements besides heat are you battling? And you're battling sand. There is sand everywhere, and as the race goes on, the track just gets grimier and grimier, and it gets coated in sand, and especially that pit road, that access road, which thankfully these guys don't need to run anymore. But that access road gets covered in sand as the 23's on the wall again.
Yeah, Sam Brochu's now having to fight that race car. We saw him come onto these playoff races very, very strong. Now in the last half of these playoff races has faltered a lot, has slid out of contention here for the championship. Although he is a chase driver, he is out of contention here tonight. But right now, all eyes are on Paul Hemus there in that 79 machine. If he can keep pace, if he can keep this ride going that he is going here tonight. But look at Riley Marabello, a non-chase driver at the top of this grid here tonight. He wants to finish this season strong. He wants to finish this season with a victory inside of that 52 machine. But, you know, Carlos, looking down that grid, our second guy on that points table, Joshua Robinson's not having the greatest race here tonight, all the way down to 6th after starting on the pole.
Yes, indeed. It could also just be him trying to save tires. You know, he's only 5 seconds back. He's probably expecting this to go just like it did last week where it was caution-free. And, well, if he does, that's going to be very good for him. Because right now he's definitely getting that long run type of strategy going on right now. But why don't you go ahead and take over for a little bit, as I believe my dog is trying to battle a water bottle.
Yeah, let's take a look right now. We're going to flip through this field. David Westergreen right there. We got Johnny Eckert in 5th. You see right there in front of him, Sam Brochu's just trying to find any line that he can on the racetrack to save that thing. As now David Westergreen is going to try to the inside of the 23 right here on the corner. See if he can clear the 23 machine. The 23 is just holding on for dear life as we head down the backstretch. Oh, hard impact off of Johnny Eckert off of 2. Hard impact on the top side wall. See if that brings out a caution here tonight. No caution yet from race control. But that's a hard impact from Johnny Eckert in that number 90 machine. As now we have a battle on our hands for our top 3 position. The 23 sliding off of 4. David Westergreen to the inside is going to hold his line. He's going to clear the 23 as we dig down to 1. David Westergreen at 22 is going to hold this position from Sam Brochu. Sam Brochu's not going to give up. He's going to use the force to try to get around David Westergreen there. That Luke Skywalker inspired machine, that blue and black, trying to use the force to get around David Westergreen in that 22. Is not going to be enough, though, as we come around 3 and 4. David Westergreen is going to solidify himself in that 3rd position, but these guys have a long way to go. They're about 4 seconds off the pace of our top 2 cars here tonight. Riley Marabello in that 52, Paul Hemus in that 79 machine are our top 2 cars on the track, and boy, are they making it clear that they are the top dogs here tonight in Miami, as right now Riley Marabello and Paul Hemus have about a 4-second gap on the rest of the field. But Carlos, Johnny Eckert looks like he has to retire from this race. Another early retirement out of that number 90 machine. That's not how you want to end your season. See right now, David Westergreen still fighting Sam Brochu in that 23. The 23 is going to still ride that high line. But here we go, folks. Josh Robinson there in that 30 machines now starting to creep up into our picture. Trying to ride that draft off of Sam Brochu in the 23. But Carlos, let's look at that number 90 machine.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to tame a wild dog to grab that water bottle back, make sure that she doesn't ingest it. And Johnny Eckert, you hate to see it. We talked about how good that initial run was, how far he pulled away, and I guess that car just went away. He pushed the tires a little too hard, and then the exit of the corner, it looks like the tires finally gave out, lost the traction, and Johnny Eckert went into the outside wall and then head first into the inside wall. So he's going to be done for the night. Paul Hemus is in pit road. Not sure if this is a planned stop or not, but he's done in pit road right now. I don't see anything that possibly happened with him. But if this is in fact an issue and he stays all the way down in 8th place and Robinson is able to get back to the top 2, top 3 spots to finish the stage 1, stage 2, and even the race, that could be enough to possibly sway him to maybe get that championship.
Yeah, right now Barrett Polimus is down pit road, and Carlos, I think at this point, stage points don't really matter to anybody except for Josh Robinson in that 30 machine. I think right now Barrett's okay with losing a stage. I think that's why we see him down pit road right now, is we only have about 6 laps to go here in stage number 1. Of course, folks, the action will not stop, so the drivers have to keep that in the back of their minds as well. You want to push the envelope just enough, but you can't rely on a caution flag to put a break in the action. As right now, as you mentioned, Carlos, looks like Josh Robinson has found the speed inside of that car. Looked like he was saving something there a little bit in the first half of that stage. He's going to go for 2-for-1 action here on the inside. And there we go. Josh Robinson's in the second spot with a little BOGO action there off of 2.
I was just looking as you were speaking last time by. I was looking at him like he's been about 4 or 5 seconds for these last like 10 laps. And I also look up ahead of him and like the other cars, except for the race leader, are within like a second to a second and a half off of him. And look at that, Robinson, and within a couple of laps since I thought about that, has managed to pass his way back up to second place. And, well, let's take a look in the telemetry, and let's see if the telemetry is lying, or what we're seeing is lying to us. I just got to find out what I'm looking for. Here we go. It looks like he's definitely outpacing Marabella. Of course, the last lap in lap 28 when he was battling for some passes, he lost some time, but it looks like we'll see what it looks like this time by when he actually gets into the clean air. See if that's still the case, or if he's actually no longer losing time to Robinson, or sorry, no longer gaining. It looks like he is still gaining just by a 10th right there, a 10th 0.7 on Riley Marabello. But I think it's going to be a little. I think it's going to be a little too late type of scenario for Robinson to get to that race lead before the stage ends. But what's working for him is Paul Hemus is now 2 laps down in 8th place. So this is what he needs. This is what he needed to happen. I'm going to see if I can maybe do some math like where they finish now. I think it's just simple 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, that type of scenario. So if it finishes right now, Robinson's going to be getting 9 points. So that's going to be subtracting from the 20 points that he had that disadvantage for. However, Paul Hemus is going to be getting 1, 2, 3 points. So it's actually 6 points that he's going to be losing. So he's going to be at 14 points behind. If it's the same scenario again, 14 minus 6 is going to be 8, right? So that'll be 8-point difference.
Yeah, so still a long way to go.
Well, here's the thing, that'll be an 8-point difference. However, if he finishes the race, that should also not be enough.
Right, so it's going to be a tough hill to climb for Josh Robinson in that 30 machine. But let's see what happens here tonight, folks, as we get just about 2 laps to go here in stage number 1. Riley Marabello in that 52 machine is, of course, not a chase driver. Missed out on the chase by just a few points. But here comes Riley around the corner here, the last lap here in stage number 1 here on lap 35. When he takes that next time across the line, we will not break the action. We'll keep rocking through like a game of soccer or a game of rugby. There's no stoppage in play here as Riley Marabello will take us down to 3 and 4 right now in that 52 machine all by himself, as he has about a 5-second lead on Josh Robinson. He's riding that top side lane. Oof, man, very close to the wall, but it is Riley Marabell with the stage number 1 victory.
All right, so he's gonna cut that race lead down from 20 to 14. Robinson is going to do that by finishing the stage in second place. If the same results happen next time by, it'll be cut down to 8. And if they finish the race in this position, they will also be cut down. It'll be cut down to 2. So it would not be enough. Robinson needs to win this race. Paul Hemus cannot move up another position. But also, we also have to account for the fact that I don't think Robinson led a lap. I think he lost the lead pretty much early on. I don't think he led a lap. Paul Hemus, I believe, led a couple laps going on. So that would move it up to 3. However, I don't know if Paul Hemus has any actual incidents. If he has any incident counts in this race, because then that will disqualify him from getting that bonus point for having a clean race.
Yeah, and here David Westergreen is down pit road right now. It seems like everybody's pitting by themselves here, Carlos. You're on lap 37. Of course, we're going to race this thing down to lap 70. That will bring an end to stage number 2. But right now, a lot of moving parts. Ambrosiu still fighting that thing here on the racetrack. Very, very, I can't say loose or tight. I'm not sure what that car is right now, Carlos. Looks like he's just trying to find that groove around this track. He's slipping and sliding. He's too tight on the corners. I don't know what's up with that 23.
Hold on, one moment, please.
Yep, and the 23 machine's on the high side here. He is losing positions down in the 4th spot right now. You see the rest of these cars. Looks like some of the cars that were early on incidents there. You see John DeBar on that 61's right there. DJ Weeks is right there as well. They're a little bit off the pace, though. Looks like a few lapped cars are trying to get around Sam Roche to the inside right there. Bear Williams is still a lap down. David Westergreen's a lap down. Johnny Eckert's 3 laps down. We saw what happened to Johnny there on the backstretch with a hard impact to that wall. But now we're catching up with Joshua Robinson there in that 30, still about 4 seconds off the pace. We got Barry Paul Hemus in that 79, still a lap down on the racetrack as well. Riley Marabello is actually coming up to him here, about to make him 2 laps down there, Carlos.
Well, I think it's the opposite. Initially, he was 2 laps down, and I think he got his lap back because, of course, when Paul Hemus went down pit road, he got fresh tires, so he's got that fresh rubber on him, that extra speed around the corner, so he was able to get one of those laps back, essentially the hard way, but he's still within an accident range of going 2 laps down. So he's a lap down, but he's almost 2 laps down. But the way it's going right now, he's separating himself from Marabello, so he's not putting himself in any immediate threat of going a second lap down. But if he goes down pit road, he'll probably find himself 2-3 laps down overall, and during the pit stop cycles, he'll be back to 1 lap down. But the way it's going, he's going to need a caution, and he's going to need to be very lucky to get that free pass to get himself back in the lead lap. And the way it's going, Westergreen is in line to get that free pass. So it's definitely not going his way right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge shake-up to the end of this race. It's going to be very, very close if all holds here tonight. No yellow flags yet, Carlos, here on lap 42. So racing very clean. We see a few drivers hit the wall. We see some drivers have incidences by themselves, but nothing to incorporate other cars on the racetrack. But right now we're taking a look at some moving pieces. Some drivers heading down pit road. Some drivers still pushing the envelope here on lap 42. Sam Brochu still way high on the racetrack right there, still holding on to his 4th spot. A little bit of a mixture here, Carlos, between the drivers. We have lapped cars, we have lead lap cars. Right now we got about 6 cars still left on the lead lap, with John DeBarl being our last car, 24 seconds off the lead there. When do you start to see some of these leaders head down pit road?
That's the thing. I just don't quite know. We saw Westergreen go down pit road a couple laps after stage 1 ended. Stage 2 ends in lap 70, by the way. But I thought it was early, and I don't know if Westergreen had an issue or if he has a different strategy that's going on that could reveal itself towards the end of the race, as it just switched over to the night setting here in iRacing. You can clearly tell that the sun has mostly gone down, and I believe the lights have turned on. But well, it's something working. Oh no, it's just sunset. It's the almost annoying glare that you see in real life. And I've sat in the grandstands, and it is horrible to even look towards the direction of turn one if you're in the front stretch. But I forgot what I was trying to say.
The glare got you again there, Carlos.
The glare got me again.
That's right. Now we have some moving pieces here on the racetrack. Oh, that didn't look good there. Uh-oh. Watch out now. Hold on to that thing. We'll see going by here who this is. That is 08 right there.
Alex Buffoli, who got involved in an incident, I believe, on lap 1, entering turns, or excuse me, exiting turns 2, and the whole backstretch to the entrance of turns 3 and 4. So the 8 it looks like recovered with a lot of that damage being repaired, but still currently 11th, the last driver on track, 9 laps down, and the way this is going, he's not going to be really getting himself into the top 10 unless somebody else gets involved in a huge incident.
Yeah, Alex Buffoli right there, as you mentioned, about 9 laps down. One of the earliest cars to have incidences here tonight in the Night of Champions 225. This is the season finale race, the championship race of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. This is the inaugural season here, so whoever wins this championship will be the first ever champion of this league here, Carlos. And I know you've raced in numerous different leagues across all different series. How much do you think it means to this driver, whoever wins it here tonight, to be the inaugural champion of this league?
It's going to be pretty big for either Pahimis or Robinson. Winning the championship, it's going to be the first one for them in this series. It's going to be the first one in the series overall, as you mentioned, the inaugural season for this league. So you always want to get that title in your record books. But what would you think about this situation if you won?
Man, I think even if there's no prize involved, even if I don't get any compensation, a trophy, whatever the case may be, I still can hold it in my back pocket that I was the first ever champion of this league. For seeing how long this league lasts, hopefully it lasts a long time. This league has been amazing so far. The drivers have been very respectful. We haven't had any crazy confrontations. I think the season's gone by pretty smoothly here, at least in my opinion. But to be the first ever champion of the league, you'll always have that. You can always say that, Carlos. That's something that nobody can take away from you. Your name will forever be in the record books of this particular league, and everything will be compared to you when everything is said and done. When there's a Season 2 champion, when there's a Season 3 champion, everything will be looked back to your name as the inaugural champion here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. So I feel like this could be a huge thing for any of these drivers here tonight, and hopefully we see these drivers, especially these 11 drivers we have in the race here tonight, back for Season 2.
I'm sure we're going to be seeing a bunch of these drivers coming back for Season 2 as Ryder Marabello has gone down pit road, your race leader. That gives the lead to Joshua Robinson, which means that he does officially lead a lap. So we can for sure get that knocked out of the way. We know that he's going to be leading that lap for sure. Stays out again, but I expect to see a lot of these drivers that saw and fully saw this season to finish. They would be committed to come back a second season. So I'm sure that everybody management is pretty happy with these guys right now. And then we're going to see what new drivers can be coming in here at the start of Season 2 in 2023.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But I believe, Carlos, we're ditching these next gens for Season 2. I think we're going to a different classification of car next year.
Yes, we are. Not only that, but we're going into 2 different series on 2 different nights. Wednesdays, where we used to run the Gen 7, the next gen cars here, is not going to be going back to the national car, the national series car, the B car, the Xfinity car, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be a Dynasty National Series on Wednesday nights. And on Tuesday nights, we're busting out the trucks. We're going to be doing some Tuesday night trucking with the Dynasty Truck Series on Tuesday nights in 2023. So it's very exciting for this league to expand into 2 more series, or 1 additional series, as your race leader Robinson is going down pit road right now for his first scheduled stop. He's gonna these guys are breaking it down into a 2-stop race, hitting every 50 laps.
Yeah, I'm looking at that here as well. As Josh Robinson, as our race leader, is down pit road there in that 30. He's going to head down pit road by himself. Barrett Polhemus, who's on the top of that points table, is still a lap down in that 79. Let's see if Joshua can beat him off pit road and still stay on the lead lap. He has to beat Riley Marabella off the pit road there. DJ Weeks is going to pass him there. David Westergreen's going to pass him.
Oh, caution!
First caution. First caution of the night.
John Lynch. That changes a lot. But you know who this really works out for. No, it doesn't even work out for him. Paul Hemus was not the first driver 1 lap down. That was Brochu.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that would have been perfect for Paul Hemus. Now Paul Hemus kind of has to be forced to do a waiver run, and it's been a hot minute since he's gone down pit road. So if he doesn't get another quick caution, and chances are he probably won't, he'll find himself in a situation where he'll probably end up being 1 or 2 laps down again.
It looks like they're on the replay here on 3 Wide TV that John Lynch tried to make it to pit road, came in very high, hit the e-brake on the corner, had that thing sideways, and at that point he knew he was just going to miss pit road. That thing was already out from underneath him. He was going for a ride there, Carlos.
No, it had nothing to do with pit road, Will. He was trying to he was racing on the outside line and just gave it too much beans in the middle of the corner.
See right there. Yeah, and he just slides. You're absolutely right there. Just slides right in front of the entry of pit road. And man, well, good on those other drivers for missing John Lynch there in that Celsius machine. But here on 3 Wide TV, that's our first caution of the night here. And Carlos, we started to see a little bit of those singularity pit stops there. A lot of these drivers heading down by themselves. Now we see a bunch of cars down pit road, about 4 cars in general here. Looks like somebody missed their pit box there. We're seeing Barrett Polhemus is back on the lead lap there. John DeBarro is back on the lead lap. Looks like Johnny Eckert's still a lap down here. So a lot of guys are going to get their laps back. But right now we're still looking at Josh Robinson as our race leader, currently at the top of that grid. And DJ Weeks at number 97 in the second spot.
Let's see if we can get a quick word with Josh Robinson, your current race leader, and actually putting a decent chance at possibly getting that championship. Now with Paul Hemus having issues, but Josh, how are you doing? You got a copy?
Yeah, how's it going?
You came into the night initially the second driver to have a shot, now being essentially the only driver to have a shot with Tom Ogle out sick tonight, which we all hope you're getting better, Tom. Hopefully you're recovering pretty easily, but you already cut the deficit down by 6 by finishing second with Paul Hemus having issues and finishing in 8th. And if the same thing happens again and you finish in the same way you guys finished in stage 1, it looks like you may be short by about 2 or 3 spots. But so far early in this run, we're a third of the way through. How's the car handling for you? How's the night overall?
Pretty loose so far, but my whole strategy was just to save tires and be quick at the end, and didn't really have to be quick at the end of that run, but I did have a lot of tire left. Didn't have anything to do with it, and then fortunately I was in the pits when the caution came out. Not really sure why the caution came out.
Yeah, and well, it worked out for you. Did not work out for the championship leader going into the race, and right now your biggest rival, Paul Hemus, who was 1 spot away from getting the lucky dog, had some issues early on the night. We're still not sure just what happened, but he got stuck a lap down with that caution, and it looked like he did the right thing, elected to go down pit road to stay 1 lap down, because it's highly unlikely that there wouldn't be another caution right off the bat again. But with your leader stuck a lap down, or your championship leader stuck a lap down at the moment, how does this change your approach to this race now that you have a better chance of winning the championship?
Well, it's definitely go time now because we're within 100 laps, so it's a one-stop race now, and we'll see how that goes.
All right, well, we wish you good luck, and hopefully we'll talk to you before this is over.
Appreciate it, guys. Hopefully we're putting on a good show for you.
I wanted to see if I can get a word with Paul Hemus, but he is a driver that does not race on Discord. That is not on Discord while he is racing, so we can't get a word with him until after the race is done. If he gets on, which I'm assuming he will. He'll probably want to have a nice word with us. Talk about the whole season. But well, you heard from the current race leader. Well, actually, yeah, the current race leader. What are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, I like his mentality of he sounded like he had basically like a calmness to him. He knows what needs to be done here tonight, but he also doesn't want to press the issue too much. And that kind of goes along with what you spotted there, Carlos. In the first half of that stage number one, he really coasted in the back of the field. He was okay losing positions there. And we saw in the last half of that stage really fly up the field, fly past everybody else. Now has that car to the inside there on the front row here on this restart. We'll see if Josh really pressed the issue here anymore. But we are back to go green flag racing here once again. The green flag is in the air once again here at South Beach as Joshua Robinson's going to take us down to corner number one.
No issues at all for your race leader and second in standings at the moment. Josh Robinson doing the best he can to get us many spots. And let's see if I can do the math now. That's going to be 10 points to Paul Hemus's 3. That'll be cutting the deficit down from 14 to 7. And if he does it again, I think it'll be a tie.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very close here, Carlos, as Joshua Robinson's going to take us off corner number 4 and across the line here on lap 58. Down to corner number 1, still our race leader has Riley Marabella on that 52 right behind him. David Westergreen's in 3rd. Sam Brochu in 4th. John DeBarro in 5th. Our current top 5 right now. A lot of the drivers are preferring that inside lane as we head down the backstretch right now. Not a lot of moving parts. Josh starting to separate just a little bit from Riley in that 52. But all drivers seem to touch that white line except for that way outside car right there. I believe that's Barrett Paul Hemus there on the way on the outside. Still a lap down, though, on the racetrack, Carlos, but he's in a good spot to try to get that lap back if he can work his way up to the top of the grid.
Yeah, right now, Paul Hemus needs that, he needs a caution, whether it's right now or a bit later. He needs to have that caution while he's in position of the lucky dog, and right now he is in position of the lucky dog. The only problem is, as Riley Marabella is looking to get the race lead from the number 30 Robinson, Johnny Eckert is also one lap down, and while they're not necessarily that close to each other at the moment, Johnny Eckert is fast, but I just looked at it right now. Johnny Eckert took a wave around, so he doesn't have fresh tires. That would explain why he's so far back. So Eckert needs a quick caution for sure right now, while Paul Hemus can afford to wait a bit before a caution comes out. Well, although I'm sure he would want the caution to come out as soon as possible so he can get himself back in prime position with as many laps as he needs.
Yeah, we'll see how all this plays out, but a lot of storylines here in the championship finale here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League as Joshua Robinson now going to take us across the line. Now he's trying to chase down Riley Marabella there, but he has pressure from that 22 machine of David Westergreen. This is not what this 30 machine wants to do. He doesn't want to lose positions here on the racetrack. He has a lot of speed behind him, though, with Sam Brochu in that 23, David Westergreen in that 22, pushing him along on the inside right now on the entry of 3. Round 4 right now. It doesn't look like he can hold pace with Riley, Carlos, but he wants to stay preferably inside this top 3 if he can.
Well, he's doing the best he can right now. We saw what a couple of drivers, including Eckert, did early in the race where they pulled off and ran very quick laps, and unfortunately, the tires didn't last at all. Now, of course, it is nighttime at this point. The sun has set. The temperature has cooled down, so I'm sure you can push it a little bit harder than usual. But there has to be a fine line, a fine balance. I think that Robinson gave up too much time in that first run, and I think he knows that too. So I expect to see Robinson, take it easy, lose the lead like he did now, maybe lose another spot, but stay within, I would say, 1.5 to maybe 2 seconds from the race lead, because him dropping down to 4, almost 5 seconds was too much. He was able to make back about 2 before that caution came out. But I think that had there not been a caution, Robinson probably would not win tonight, I should say. Due to just losing too much time in the beginning. So I think now that this caution was good for him, kind of good for Paul Hemus, although he probably wishes that he was the first car lap down when that happened. But I think this is the thing that is able to get Robinson to kind of realize, I made a mistake in stage 1, let me fix it in stage 2.
Yeah, definitely. As you see, he's just going to coast right behind the 23 machine of Sam Brochu. He gave up that spot, but now he's inching that Ford Mustang right along the inside right now on the entry of 3 and 4. See if he can take that spot back from the 23 machine of Sam Brochu. There he goes on the inside. Going to get a big push from David Westergreen in that 22. He's going to push him along here on the exit of 4. Joshua Robinson's going to stay to the inside. No, he's going to follow right back behind of Sam Brochu in that 23 as we enter into corner number 1. Joshua Robinson doesn't seem to want to give up the inside.
Whoa.
Briefly makes contact with Sam Brochu at 23. Sam's okay with it, though. He's still rocking and rolling. It's okay. Sam knows a racing move when he feels one. He's still holding his line. We have quite the battle here for second.
Yeah, these guys are driving like as if it's the end of the race. We're not even at the halfway point right now. And the 30 just wants to get that second place spot, it seems. So the 23 does not want to give it at the moment. We've seen Sam Brochu struggle a lot with the middle and latter parts of the run on this car, especially what we saw in stage 1, getting loose in the corner, hitting the wall multiple times. So hopefully now the sun is down, that car has been able to tighten itself back up just a little bit to the point where Brochu can be competitive towards the long run. But with the time being, it looks like the 30 is trying to get into that lower inside position going into 3 and 4. That'll put Robinson, that'll put Robinson with a decent advantage, but that outside line momentum is going to carry Sam Brochu all the way through on the outside line. Is it enough to clear number 30 Robinson? It isn't, as once again, we're going to be going back and forth. Inside line advantage on the entry of the corner, outside line advantage on the exit.
Yeah, Joshua Robinson, I see what exactly... Oh, no! He gets very loose, taps the apron there, slides that car around, still going to hold on to that third spot. David Westergreen's down right on that back bumper. But boy, I saw what he was doing there, Carlos. He was saving pace there, trying to get around Sam Brochu, make a move on Rally Marabello, because he knows all these points that we're calculating up here in the booth, a stage victory can help him in that cause for a championship. But right now, he has some work to do with 3 laps to go here in stage number 2. He has tried to get around Sam Brochu once again without hitting that apron as we come off of 2 right now to this backstretch. And what a beautiful scene it is here in South Beach. You see how the sun sets here in Florida. You see the beautiful palm trees there to your right on the backstretch. There goes Joshua Robinson to the inside of the 23 machine of Sam Brochu. We're getting a front row view out of David Westergreen in that 22 there. Door to door down the front stretch.
Sam Brochu almost hit the outside while he's in the corner. I think everybody but Sam Brochu had a bad entry into 3 and 4. David Westergreen drove it in there too deep and had to adjust before he even got to the apex of the corner. And I think Robinson, even though it worked out for him, drove it in there a little too high, a little too late on the apex. And I think there was maybe some slight contact and or maybe netco between him and Brochu that eventually just slightly changed the course of trajectory for Brochu's car, and that kind of pushed him a little, just a little high. I don't think he hit the wall, but he did lose a lot of time having to back off the throttle. And as we saw a couple laps ago with Robinson, even though he's got that second place spot back, and he's battling for the race lead possibly. Momentum is key. You don't want to give up a lot of momentum. Robinson was right next to Brochu. Did Brochu hit the wall again?
Let's see, to the outside. There goes Josh Robinson to the outside of Riley Marabello. He's going to force him up onto the track. Joshua Robinson's going to go to the inside of Riley Marabello there in the 52. See if he can hold pace around corner number 4. Get this stage victory. We have a drag race to the start-finish line. It's Riley Marabello with the stage number 2 win.
And with that means that the deficit is going to be cut from 14 points down to down to 8 points. So that is not what Robinson needed to do. He was close. He was there. I actually completely forgot that stage 2 was ending there. So thank you for taking over for that. But with Robinson finishing 2nd and Paul Hemus finishing 8th again, that's another 7-point differential. So from 14 down, no, not 7 points. That's another 6-point differential. So down from wait, am I doing my math right? So Robinson gets 9 points. Paul
You're
Hemus,
math guy, Carlos. Definitely not me.
Okay, so Robinson gets 9 points out of that. Paul Hemus is going to be getting 3 points. So 9 minus 3 is 6. 14 minus 6 is 8. So yeah, my math was correct. So at the way it's going, he is 8 points behind your championship leader entering the race, Paul Hemus. So Robinson needs to win this race. If Robinson wins the race and Paul Hemus finishes in, or still doing math, and Paul Hemus finishes in 8th where he is right now, that's going to be, actually, if he wins the race, it's more points. Where is, I think so, here. That's 40 points to the 33 points. No, that's 7 points. That's still, yeah, I thought there was a bunch. Okay, well, I guess we'll figure that out. So then that'll be 7 points. So that's not enough with the way it's going. If he wins the race and Pahimus finishes in 8th, that's gonna be it's gonna be 7 point differential to the 8 point gap there is right now. Then he would finish second by 1 point. So that's not. So he needs Pahimus to lose a spot to Eckert, which at this moment seems very unlikely because Eckert is on old tires and will have to pit before anybody else.
Wow.
His
a
only
lot of
saving grace
here.
His only saving grace is that he needs to hope that for some reason Pahimus has an incident, because has or had an incident point at any point in this race, because if he did, then he would not be able to qualify for that bonus point. And if Robinson needs to run a clean incident-free race, because then that will give him a point. So then that would make it a tie if Robinson wins, and Pahimus finishes in 8th. Now, then the next question I have is who's run the fastest lap? It's not Robinson.
A lot of scenarios have to play out here tonight, Carlos. And man, I'm down for it. I don't know about you, my man, but
okay, it's not Robinson.
Scenarios.
It's not Robinson. It's also not Pahimus. So that's not going to be a bonus point. Let's see what else could be a bonus point. Most laps led. It's not going to be Pahimus. That's for sure. The question is, how many laps did the other drivers lead? And if Robinson, if he leads from here on out, is that going to be enough for him to get the most laps led? Because if that's the case, that'll for sure give him that bonus point to get him tied if they both have incident-free races, and to for sure clinch the win on the championship if Pahimus doesn't have an incident-free race and Robinson does.
Wow. A lot of things to play out here tonight. But now, as we were talking about him there, Joshua Robinson's now in the lead, holding off Riley Marabella in that 52 machine. We're on lap 77 here in the Night of Champions 225. This is the championship race of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. We're live on 3Y TV here tonight, just as we've been all season long here tonight. Carlos, as Josh is going to take us off of corner number 4 to this front stretch. And of course, as 3Y TV's been the broadcast partner here in this league, Carlos, what else do you have for the folks at home for 3Y TV's broadcasting schedule here the rest of the way? Because they all know that Dynasty Stock Car Racing League is going to end here tonight. But what do you have to look forward to in 2023 after the holidays?
Well, I think I'm going to be getting some rest. I know there's a league I cover that this year decided they're going to be doing special events as opposed to a regular season-long championship battle. So there are going to be a couple special events sprinkled throughout the year. So it's going to free up that specific day of the week for me. So I'm going to be having at least some time off. I know I'm going to be returning back with Oscar next year. I think that's going to be for sure, without a doubt. I'm going to be dabbling with a couple races as well as the playoff races for 100%. I'm not sure quite yet what's going to be happening with Dynasty Stock Car. It would be fun to see these guys, what they do next year. But if I can't work out a deal, I'd love to for sure at least race in this league. But you know what else I got for you? I got you guys ad reads, and I guess I'll start with myself here first, if I can find the actual promo for Dynasty Stock Car, because the chase, as well as the chase graphic, is brought to you guys by C. Warren at NASCAR.com. Oh, no, okay, take over with the other sponsors. My dog has found an ornament.
Oh, no, he's got a Christmas emergency over there at Carlos's. But, of course, we want to thank all the sponsors here that's been with us all season long here on 3Y TV and in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. Of course, we can't forget about Manny Ray's Cemetery Landscaping Company, making sure all those cemeteries are taken care of. Also, Pro Air, who we always thought was an AC company to start off the season, is actually a medical supply company. So we want to thank Pro Air and Manny Ray's as well. And Carlos has a wonderful sponsor that he'll talk about once he comes back on air here. Saves that ornament from his hungry dog there. But I believe if you want to get NASCAR tickets, that's the man to shoot for there, Carlos. Yeah. But Carlos, who's that wonderful guy that can hook you up with all those racing tickets?
You want to contact Davis at cwarren at NASCAR.com. You need tickets to the NASCAR race at Darlington, Martinsville, Richmond, or the all-new Chicago Street Circuit? Contact Davis at cwarren@nascar.com. And thank you, Davis, for the email, cwarren@nascar.com, for hooking these guys up with a good sponsorship here for the Dynasty Stock Car Racing Series.
Yeah, I can't wait for that Chicago street race next year. I think the F1 race might be a little out of reach the way those ticket prices are, but maybe the Chicago street race would be the one to go to next year. Carlos says now we're seeing Joshua Robinson with about almost a second and a half lead there here on lap 83 down into the corner. He's looking good at night. All these paint schemes are looking good under the lights here at South Beach. But as we're going through the scenarios, we look at Barrett Bohemus still a lap down into the 8th position. We need Johnny Eckert to get by him to make it a little bit more interesting for Josh Robinson there at the top of the grid. But Johnny Eckert's now another lap down there in the 9th position. 2 laps down now on the racetrack. With only one caution here tonight, Carlos. Whoa, no, we might have our second. No, we don't. As contact is made between David Westergreen and Riley Marabella, and Riley saves that thing somehow, some way.
That would have changed everything for the worse for Robinson. Had that caution come out, Bohemus would have been the free pass. Now that's not the case. There is no caution out right now. If Bohemus gets back in the lead lap, unless something happens, I think Robinson's chances are done.
Yeah, we'll watch how this plays out right now here on lap 85. As we just cross the line, Josh Robinson's going to take us down to corner number 1 as our race leader has about a 2-second lead on David Westergreen in that 22 machine. And all these drivers have had very, very good seasons. Of course, as I spoke about when we started this season off, oh man, that could have been disastrous.
No,
second caution of the night. Second caution.
Sam Brochu. This changes everything. Bohemus will be the free pass.
Wow.
Oh man, Robinson was doing everything right. He was separating the distance by a lot every single lap. Had he just kept on leading till the race was over, I believe he would have clinched the most laps led. And that would have been enough for sure to guarantee the tie if Bohemus finished 8th. Now Bohemus is going to get the free pass and will more than likely be passing at least one driver. I think it's safe to say that that'll happen, which means that his chances of winning a championship continue to dwindle. But let's take a look at that replay.
Let's check out this replay here live on 3Y TV.
Oh,
Sam
too far
Burch,
back.
we saw him fighting this thing all night long. We're just going to get the tail end of this here. Coming off of 4, that thing slide from him, Carlos. But we've seen this slide out of the 23 machine, I'd say from about the lap 50 or so. He's been really fighting that car here now.
Yeah, that's what we noticed, especially in the first stage where he struggled in the middle to late run. And this time by in the second stage, struggling the same way. He is not able to kind of figure out the way that this car is behaving. So, unfortunately for Sam Brochu, his night continues to get difficult and difficult.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for Sam as we saw him racing really strong to start things off here. But now our race leader is down pit road. That 30 machine of Josh Robinson's down pit road. Some other cars are down there as well. Looks like Riley Marabella is down pit road. David Westergreen, that 22 is down pit road as well. He's going to beat Josh Robinson off of pit road. Looks like Josh going to go for all 4 freshies there. Riley Marabella is going to be right behind him there in that 52 machine. What a run from Riley here tonight, Carlos. We haven't seen him in the mix for a while, but as a non-chase driver, he's really trying to finish the season strong.
Oh, Lord, he coming. There goes the number 79. Barrett Bohemus back on the lead lap. You can't keep Darth Vader down. He always gets back up. Isn't that right, Will?
Yeah, that's exactly right there. He's been burned alive. His arms have been cut off. He's half robot, half cyborg. But dude is still trucking along, just like Barrett Bohemus there in that 79 machine. We've seen all the trials and tribulations that 79 machines had to go through this season. Was overshadowed from Nick and Delicato during that regular season stretch we had there. But once these playoff races started, it was a whole new driver inside of that cockpit, inside of that 79. And he has just been on a tear in these playoff races. I don't think he's left the top of the table this entire chase standings here, Carlos. It wasn't until the last couple races that the chase lead has gotten lower and lower, but I don't think he's left the top of the table since we started this thing off.
Yeah, and it would be, it was very interesting to see what Robinson could have done with Paul Hemus kind of stuck there with that virtual barrier of being a lap down. Now that that's over, what will Paul Hemus do? Paul Hemus just needs to get a decent finish. I think for Paul Hemus to be okay, he needs to pass 2 drivers and finish the race 6 or higher. My math could be wrong, but I think for him to be okay, he needs to finish 6 or higher. Just go for 5th or better. But at that point, once you're there, you don't really want to push your luck. Because worst case scenario, you get yourself involved in an incident that's going to send you all the way down to 9th place. That'll make it slightly easier for Robinson, who's now in 3rd, but does have 4 fresh tires compared to Westergren and Weeks, who either have 2 or none. Actually, Weeks just stayed out. He hasn't. Weeks is in old tires. He did not go down Pier Road. But actually, well, we have 1 to go. Did you mention how many tires these drivers are allowed?
Yeah, so they started with 1 set on these machines here tonight, and they had 3 sets in the garage. So it's going to be very difficult here tonight to really calculate how far these tires can go. We've only had 2 cautions here tonight, 89 laps in. But Carlos, as the yellow lights are off of that pace car, what's best case and worst case for our top 2 points leaders right now? Joshua Robinson in that 30 right now is really running a strong race here tonight. Barrett Hemus is the first car on the lead lap. We talked about the chips that have to fall in order for one of these drivers to get the championship. Now it's really anybody's ball game here as this pace car is going to lead us down to 3 and 4.
What's best and worst for Robinson? Robinson, he doesn't really have a best he can do right now at this point, unless Paul Hemus finds himself in issues. Robinson just needs to go out there and do the best he can to put himself in a position should Paul Hemus have another issue. But for Paul Hemus, best is winning the championship. Worst is wrecking himself out trying to get additional spots he possibly doesn't need. Pace car is off, and we're about to enter lap number 90 here with about 61 laps remaining as they cross the line this time by to start lap number 90. DJ Weeks takes over the race lead as Marabello's on old tires just continues to drop back. Westergren on old tires is going to be dropping back.
Yeah, there goes Joshua Robinson to the inside of DJ Weeks here down the backstretch here. He's trying to get back to the number 1 spot. As Ludacris once said, I'm coming for that number 1 spot. And he does just that as we enter into 3 and 4. So our race leader, Josh Robinson, there in that 30. Has Riley Marabello right behind him in that 52. Sam Brochu's in the mix. He's 3 wide with Barrett Hemus right now. Barrett Hemus can afford to be racing on the edge like that. If anything happens to that 79 machine, that 30 team will be very excited. But right now that 79 is trying to creep his way back up to the grid after he just went a lap down. Now you see Darth Vader right there. You don't want to start to hear the faint noises of the Imperial March, because here comes the 79 of Barrett Hemus now in the 3rd position. Has his eyes set on Riley Marabello, but here comes Johnny Eckert 2 laps down. He's put himself in the mix trying to get his laps back right now, but he is in the thick of it right there with Barrett Hemus and Sam Brochu.
Johnny Eckert just couldn't wait any longer before that second caution came out. He had to go down Pier Road, and because of that, found himself another lap down. Had the 23 spun out a couple laps earlier, or had Eckert just had enough fuel, I don't think it was possible, but if he had just enough fuel to last a couple more laps, he would have been in the free pass position. Actually, no, he probably wouldn't have been in the free pass position, but he would be 1 lap down with fresh tires and everything, so he would have been needing another caution. But unfortunately for him, he is 2 laps down. Fortunately for him, he is in a free pass. He'll just get 1 lap back, so he'll need 2 cautions at most to get himself back in a decent position.
Yeah, and if you look at that lap time on top of your screen there, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Robinson just ran a 33.3 right there, almost a full 100/10 of a second faster than the 2nd place guy right there who ran a 33.4. So right now, Josh Robinson is very fast on the track. See how large this gap can get right between him and Riley Marabello. You have Jake Bustos actually is now throwing that 74 inside the top three, holding off Darth Vader there in that 79 machine. But as we dig down to corner number one, still it's Josh Robinson coming off of two as our race leader. Barrett's trying that high side lane right there, has Sam Brochu to the inside. We see Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker now trying to work together to try to get their way up to the top of the grid. It's not much we see that out of Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. I suppose at the very end of the series you see a bit of teamwork, but right now they're trying to work together to see which car can get up there, as Sam Brochu's championship hopes are all but dashed, but not Barrett Balahimas. He might be the one popping champagne on South Beach here tonight, but we still have a long race to go, as Josh Robinson will take us down the backstretch, still as our race leader.
One of my guilty pleasures will, and it's very rare, it's one of my very niche guilty pleasures, is that sometimes I'll be on YouTube and I'll look up compilations. I'll look up compilations of people who celebrated too early. People who were either running at the end of a marathon and thought they're about to finish, they're about to cross the line. They start waving, they start pumping up the crowd, and all of a sudden second place just squeezes right on by with the final footstep. That could happen tonight. Paul Hemus
really
pretty much is guaranteed. It almost happened, but I wouldn't say that Paul Hemus is out there cheering others on, saying that he's going to win the championship when he had that issue earlier in the race. But it could be with 5 laps to go, maybe on the last lap, Paul Hemus could make a mistake that sent him all the way down. And Robinson, who is currently leading, and if this keeps on going, will probably lead the most laps by the time the race is done. If Paul Hemus makes a grave mistake very, very close to the end of the race, that could be added to a compilation of people celebrating their wins a little too early. So just because you're back in the lead lap and you're in the top 5 with a prime position to win a championship because Robinson just has no more spots to get, you can't just celebrate and assume you're going to win the championship.
Yeah, you can't assume anything right now, as we're still watching the conclusion here in the season finale of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. This is the Night of Champions 225. We're on lap number 97 of 150. We extended it for just about 25 laps there, Carlos, from what we thought it was going to be here tonight. We had 134 in our books. Got extended to 150 here tonight, but that has opened the door for very competitive action here. We only have just a few drivers out of the mix. Foley has parked his race car. Lynch has as well. Johnny Eckert's got that thing back out on the track 2 laps down. David Westgreen's down in the 8th position, about 11 seconds off the pace. John DeBarro in that 61's in 7th. DJ Weeks in that number 97's in 6th. The Barrett Paul Hemus, Darth Vader himself in that 79 is in 5th. Sam Brochu, a.k.a. Luke Skywalker, is in 4th. We look at Jake Bustos in that 74 has come on strong here as well. He has a win in these Chase playoffs, Carlos, is inside the top 3. Then we jump to Riley Marabell in that 52 machine's been inside the top 3 all night long. And our race leader right there, Josh Robinson in that 30. Come around corner number 4. He's going to make it lap 100 crossing this line.
Oh, I was going to say earlier you were talking about how Josh Robinson ran a 33.31 around that time. We were talking about how fast that was. Unfortunately, it wasn't fast enough to be the fastest driver. He was, of course, at that time, the second fastest driver. I don't know when it happened, but a couple laps ago, he ran a 33.27, improving on that 33.31. And you know what that means? He's still not the fastest driver because that title still belongs to Johnny Eckert, who ran a 33.23 this run. So Robinson has the speed, and I think he has one more realistic shot at getting that fastest lap of the race as we has gone down Pear Road. Of course, we being Weeks, as I messaged the guys at SDK to give me the ability to change the 3-letter short name to actual full letters, to full name, but we get scenarios like going in down in Pear Road, but Robinson has one more chance at this. Next time by, when he goes down, well, not next time by, the next time he goes down Pear Road, he's got 4 fresh tires. He has this final chance to set the fastest lap of the race, and that'll make it a little bit easier in case Paul Hemus has issues, because right now, it's just not enough points for Robinson to get. But should something happen, yeah, you want to have as many chances as you can.
Yeah, as many chances, as many scenarios want to play out in your favor as right now. Barrett Polhemus is losing a bit of speed. He is now 7 seconds off the pace, down in fifth. But if you think about it this way, Carlos, if Josh Robinson leads the most laps here tonight, he has the fastest lap, and he ends up winning the race, how close of a points battle is it going to be? Because right now it's down to about 7 points, or
Right now
11
it's 8
points, you
points.
said, after the 8 points. How close is it going to be if all those things fall into Josh Robinson's place?
All right. So let's say assuming they finish where they are right now, Robinson gets that. Okay, so they're 8 points. Robinson gets a clean race, and Paulhemus doesn't. Which I think Paulhemus has a clean race, but let's just say he doesn't. That's gonna be 7 points. Fastest lap 6 points. Most laps led 5 points. They are 5 points separated, which would be a tie. Which would be a tie. Is there anything else I'm missing?
No, I don't think so, because Josh Robinson didn't win the stage. He finished second in stage number 2. Barrett Polhemus finished both stages a couple of laps down. Now, this is the first time we've seen that 79 back on the lead lap here tonight. Josh Robinson looks like he might lead the most laps here tonight, have the fastest lap as well, as he just ran a 34 flat. Oh my goodness, he was fast here at the top of the grid, although Ryan Marabella is right there in that 52 machine. All I know, Carlos, is at the end of this race, it's going to be very, very close. We might have to bust out our Texas Instrument calculators over here, start busting it out, do a bit of college algebra over here up in the booth to figure it out.
I have Casio calculators.
Right now, Josh Robinson still is our race leader, Carlos. We just know that all that Josh has to do in every scenario that we've tried to plan out here on 3Y TV, he has to win. There's no other option other than to win here tonight to make it even a virtual tie right there at the end. If he doesn't win the race, all those scenarios go out the window. All those points you've been calculating go out the window for that 30 machine. So all he has to focus on, all we have to focus on as well, is making sure that 30 machine crosses that start-finish line first at the end of this race.
I also do want to point out that the first tiebreaker is number of wins. Paulhemus has the 1 win. Robinson has 2 wins, and of course, he has to win to even get to that tie position at the moment. So that'll put him at 3 wins, which means if he ties, Robinson is your champion.
Oof. Man, it's going to be so close at the end of this, Carlos, as right now we have Josh Robinson, Riley Marabello battling it up for the lead. We're across 108 here in the Night of Champions 225. We're cruising it down here to the end of this season, to the end of this race. We will crown a champion here tonight. We don't take ties here. We are not the NFL. We don't have ties. We will break the tie at the end of this race here tonight. But all eyes are fixated on this 30 machine as he comes off of corner number 4 right now. We spoke about it here, Carlos. The race is building up into this championship race. Josh Robinson, I say, is a driver that really in the midpoint of the regular season turned a corner. You know, it's sort of like one of those drivers you've seen in a lot of leagues, and no offense to other drivers out there, one of those drivers that really just drives around each race every week, has an average finish of anywhere from about 15 to 20. He's not the best driver out there, but still a good competitor. But that midpoint of the season where he was named an alternate for the Dash or Cash race, you really saw a little bit of a confidence build in that 30 machine. You know, he was able to get into the playoffs as well with good runs that end that regular season. And in these playoffs, he's really performed to the max. I mean, he's had some of his best races the entire season. And now here tonight, laying it out on the line here in the championship race, knowing that he has a shot with Tom Ogle out of this race here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, with an unfortunate illness. And we send our best to Tom, and we're bummed that he's going to miss this championship race. But for this 30 machine, Carlos, you know, to start off the season all the way up to that midpoint, he wouldn't have been a driver that would put into the championship mix at all.
Oh man, had Tom shown up tonight, let's just assume that Tom would have finished anywhere between second and where Paulhemus was. We would be talking about a completely different picture. Of course, Tom would have also probably had a chance at winning the championship. But it looks like had Tom been there, there's a good chance Paul Hemus would probably be needing to finish second or first to even wrap up that championship, as opposed to fifth right now where he is. Because we mentioned, should Robinson get all of those bonus points that are available, he'll need Paul Hemus to finish at least fifth. He'll need to finish at best fifth for him to even tie, and for Robinson to tie and win the championship. There's a good chance that Robinson won't be able to get the fastest lap of the race. He's the second fastest right now, and he did set his fastest lap on this run. Temperatures are getting colder, the track speed is getting higher. So we saw Robinson, we also saw Eckert set the fastest lap of the race. Other drivers could set the fastest lap of the race next time by when they go down Pear Road. So he's got a decent chance of getting the fastest lap. Not guaranteed though. I really doubt at this point that Paul Hemus had an incident in the race. I don't know why he went down Pear Road early in stage 1. But I don't see any damage in his car. I don't see anything that could have caused an incident. So I think Paul Hemus is going to be getting that clean race bonus. So with that out of the picture, there's no way with Paul Hemus finishing in fifth that Robinson will tie for that championship. He needs Paul Hemus at this point to finish sixth or worse.
Man, a lot of different scenarios up here in the booth for Josh Robinson to get this championship. And even if this 30 machine does come up short, Carlos, we got to take our hats off to the run that this 30 machine has had. I mean, just the way that he's come from a driver from obscurity, not really a driver we've even looked at or talked about until that Dash for Cash race where he snuck in there to be one of those 4 drivers that raced for the Dash for Cash. I don't think his performance in that race was all that great either, but I really feel like putting his name into the mix, I believe it was Tom Ogle in that race, Nick Indelicato, Barrett Paul Hemus. I mean, he was racing against the who's who of the league, and I think until about the halfway point of that race, he was really showing his stuff in that, but I feel like once he knew that he was good enough to race with those guys, that just set a whole different confidence level for this 30. We've seen it now for the past, I would say he's had about a 7 or 8 race streak now that he's really performed well.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, what a fantastic drive it's been this last half of the season for Robinson, and this whole race as a whole. This has definitely been one of the more entertaining races out there. Of course, you never really want to broadcast a series with low car count, especially one that is 150 miles. I believe 150 laps. I believe in this case it would be slightly over 300 miles overall. I think this is past the distance of an Xfinity race. But this race and the last couple races have been just pure entertainment because it's a low car count. Yes, it is, but it's some of the more committed drivers out there. All of these drivers here want to race in this league. They want to do it because they enjoy it and they have fun. And we're coming out here with Robinson, a very desperate, doing everything he can to get this championship victory against all odds. We have Paul Hemus hanging on there by a thread, getting that lucky caution. We have Marabello, Broshi, Bustos, DeBarro, Weeks, Westergreen, Eckert, who even though he's 2 laps down, ran strong early, ran the fastest lap to possibly prevent Robinson from getting that one. They're all playing a massive role here tonight in this bigger picture of crowning the first ever Dynasty Stock Car Racing champion.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, folks, as Carlos just mentioned, whoever wins the championship here tonight will be the first ever champion of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. If you want more information about this league, we encourage you to go check them out on Facebook, Twitter, or Discord at Dynasty Stock Car Racing there. If you want more information about 3Y TV and more booking information, how to book Carlos Acosta and his wonderful broadcasting company, 3Y TV, go check them out on Facebook, YouTube for all his videos and all his races that he's done, as well as Twitter for more information about that. And Carlos, this is we're wrapping up a lot of leagues here. We're on lap 119 here in the Night of Champions 225. A lot of leagues around the board are shutting down for this holiday break we got coming up. I didn't realize that Christmas was actually next weekend.
I know, right?
Carlos.
Oh, man. what's it called? Well, you mentioned earlier what's in store right now for 3Y TV, and right now this is my final scheduled broadcast race of the season. Next Wednesday, I'm going to be going up to Orlando, I believe, until the 3rd of January or the 2nd of January to spend time with my father. I always like to spend some time of the year with my father. Of course, Christmas time is some of the best times out there to do it. So I'm going to be after Wednesday, I'm going to be going straight up to Orlando, and I won't be anywhere near my broadcasting equipment until the new year. So once this is done, I get some much needed rest. I go into hibernation, and then 2023. Well, we're going to see what that's going to plan out for us.
Oh man, I am ready for 2023. I'm not ready for the holidays to go by in a flash. Not really looking forward to next month either, Carlos. I'm gonna be turning 30 next month, so it's not a very it's a happy time, but it's also a discouraging time at the same time here. But watching the 30 machine here on the track, Joshua Robinson's now built that lead to almost about 3 seconds here as we're gonna cross the line here on lap 122. I know some folks want to go ahead and get this holiday out of the way, get New Year's out of the way. Not me. I love this
broke.
Christmas time. We want to. I want this Christmas time to keep going. I enjoy all the festivities, the lights, the tree, and all that good stuff that goes along with it. And as you mentioned, Carlos, it's a good time to bring families together. And some folks don't get to see their families on Christmas, but we want to wish everybody a happy and safe holiday here coming up in less than 10 days. I can't believe that Christmas is only 10 days away. That has come up quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Christmas is the 25th. It's 11 days.
25th. So it's about 11 days after counting today.
We do math right here.
I skipped a day. As we see,
to be fair, the day is pretty much over. It's already like 10:20 something. And you know what? I'm sorry. That's on me. It's Christmas time, the season for giving. I apologize, Will. I'll let you have that one. It's 10 days of Christmas.
It's all right. It's about
also,
10,
if you're Hispanic like I am, Hispanic people usually open Christmas presents midnight on the 25th. So we here's where because I'm from Peru. I'm Hispanic. As Robinson is going down Pit Road, I believe he's one of the last drivers to do that. Actually, no, Pajimes and DeBarro have yet to go down Pit Road. Hispanic households, at least in Peru, from where I'm from, and even after we moved to America, we would go to sleep kind of in the middle of the day. So at least the kids would, because we would always want to open presents. And then at 11 p.m. on the 24th, we would have our Christmas dinner. That's when we would eat, and then after we're done eating, put on some music, take a little dance, and then stay together until it's actually the 25th when it's Christmas. And then of course Christmas, Jesus is born. That's the thing, and then everybody starts hugging each other and celebrating whatever. We get like hot chocolate that gets made. And then that's when we all sit down by the tree and start opening presents. So that's when I used to see like Christmas movies, and they're like, why are these kids waking up on the day? Why don't they just open the presents at night? That always threw me off for like the longest time. Because I'm sure for you woke up on Christmas and opened presents.
Yeah, well, even as an adult, I still wake up in the morning on the 25th and open presents. So I don't think that habit will ever go away, even as adults here. But Carlos, that sounds really fun. I think
you gotta admit though. You gotta admit, I got to open my presents before other kids did. So
that's true. That's true. I get my Christmas pajamas on the 24th. That's basically.
All right. Yeah.
Oh man, as we're back to the live action here at Homestead here in the Night of Champions 225, we have 25 laps to go in this championship race. Paul Hemus in that 79 is now our race leader on the track. Looks like, though, Carlos, he's going to push the envelope till the wheels fall off of that thing here, as everybody else is headed down pit road, not the 79 machine. He's still pushing along here, would make it 24 laps to go.
Yep, and actually, if DeBarro and Paul Hemus go down pit road, the last two drivers to do it, Robinson wouldn't get the race lead. Marabello is ahead of Robinson. He also went down pit road 2 laps earlier than Robinson did. So that's pretty interesting, although I don't know, or they're right next to each other, but this is an interesting development. If Robinson can't get past Marabello, then all of this battling and everything has been for naught, because Robinson needs to win. Or Paul Hemus needs to have a very catastrophic last couple laps, But, it's a better chance of Robinson actually winning than Paul Hemus having an issue and losing all those spots.
Now, are you on the radio with the 52, letting him know what's at stake here? Or do you think the 52 is even listening to what you have to say, knowing that he wants to win here tonight, as you now see the 30 of Josh Robinson to the inside of the 52 of Riley Marabello? Do you think Riley knows what's at stake for the 30 machine, or do you really think it's just anybody's race?
I personally don't think that Marabello has any idea that Robinson is that close to actually winning a championship. Even though it's still very unlikely as Paul Hemus is going down pit road. I kind of was counting out Robinson from even having a chance. Apologies, Robinson. But I did not expect that Darth Vader himself would have issues in stage 1 that, took him out of stage 1 and stage 2 essentially, and put you in a good position. I'm sorry, I didn't expect it. So I don't know if Marabello was expecting that either. And even if he was, I would personally not go on the radio and say, hey, I need to win this championship, get out of the way. I don't want to win a championship that way, let alone a race. So I'm sure that Robinson's not really saying anything, because to me, if the 52 wants to give it up, it needs to be his decision alone, and it can't be with me saying anything about it.
This is absolutely true. As now Josh Robinson has cleared the 52 of Riley Marabello. We have John DeBarro still at the top of the grid. He is yet to head down pit road. So for Josh Robinson in that 30, he is now clear and sailing to this race victory with 21 laps to go. He just needs to hold pace. Take a look down the grid there. Barrett Paul Hemus is in the 8th position. You said, Carlos, if he finishes worse than 6th or lower, we might have a close points battle on our hands.
Here's the thing, though. Actually, he's by 11 seconds behind Westergreen. DeBarro has to go down pit road, so he'll be 8th for sure. My question is, with Paul Hemus leading laps and DeBarro also leading lap, did that cut away from the chance of the 30 of Robinson from leading the most laps? Because he didn't really lead laps for the first half of the race. I think, if possible, he maybe led less than 5. And then he's been dominating the second half of the races. Bro has gone down pit road. That's one of the good ones right there. So thank you for SDK for giving us that acronym, as opposed to whenever Weeks goes down pit road or Peeler goes down pit road, because that one's a little more awkward. There was one that was also Pooh a couple years ago. We had the classic P versus Pooh battle because they were chasing each other for the lead, and I believe it was this graphic here that has acronyms, so it was P in first place and Pooh in second.
Oh man, that's awesome. As now we have 18 laps to go, come around the apex of 1 and 2. There goes Josh Robinson in that 30. So our race leader has been the dominant car on the racetrack here, as Carlos just mentioned here in the second half of this race. Really in stage number 2, he tried to build his way back up there to get that stage number 2 victory. Had he gotten that stage 2 victory, Carlos, I think it would be a whole different conversation than what we're having now. But as he comes off of 4, they get 17 laps to go as we dig down to corner number 1.
All right, I want to do the math here. 17 laps to go. Let's say they finish where they are, okay? Paul Hemus finishes in 7th. Robinson in 1st. That would result in there being a 40 minus 34. That's going to be a... Oh, I'm stupid. Yeah, that's 6 points. That's right. It's a 6 positions difference. To the 8 points there are right now, then Robinson will need to get 2 additional bonus points that Paul Hemus cannot. So I think it's safe to say at this point he will probably lock up the most laps led. So that'll be 1 point. He needs to get that fastest lap of the race. Did he do it? He did not. He did not, and as a matter of fact, he is actually now the 3rd fastest driver of the race, because Johnny Eckert ran a faster lap time. He ran a 33.12, and Sam Brochu ran a faster lap time at 33.22 to Robinson's 33.24. So Robinson, unless there's a caution and these guys still have fresh tires, as Paul Hemus is a lap down, actually.
Yeah, I was just about to mention, does that cut into that at all there with
I think he'll get his lap back. I think that's going to happen. But with the way it's going, he's not going to get that fastest lap of the race. And it looks like he's going to be finishing third as opposed to second on that one, even though that doesn't really matter. So most laps that's 1 point. He needs to bank on the fact, or he needs to bank on what am I looking for here? Where's my? Hold up. Oh, that's right. It's in the okay. He needs to bank on Paulhemus having an incident point. If Paulhemus has an incident point today in this race, and Robinson does not, and he leads the most laps, then Robinson is your champion. If we're doing our math right, we're not gonna just, we're doing our math. We may have messed up. All right, we'll see what it is. But at the moment, we believe our math is correct, and if those two things happen, then Robinson is your champion. With Paulhemus finishing in 7th, where he is right now, he's in 6th. So he needs 3 things to happen, and he cannot get 3 things to happen. So the way it's going right now, it's not going to work.
Wow, what a finish this is working up to be here. We might even have to have race control to come up into the booth here to break down how this championship will play out. But here we go. Josh Robinson is going to cross this line here with 12 laps to go. Keeping an eye out on that 30 machine as we have 2 non-chase drivers inside the top 3 with Riley Marabella on that 52. Jake Bustos in that 74 is in 3rd right now, but all eyes are on the top of the grid as that 30 machine is going to take us down the backstretch as our race leader here with 12 laps to go. This is the Night of the Champions 225 here live on 3Y TV. My name is William Tiller. I've been joined by my main man the most of the season here tonight, Carlos. I think both of us have missed maybe 1 or 2 races here this entire season. But the man behind the decks, Carlos Acosta there, the leader, the boss at 3Y TV here tonight. Again, we want to thank all of the sponsors here being with us all season long. We got Manny Rays, we got Pro Air as well. We also want to thank the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League for taking us on here and allowing us to broadcast these awesome races week in and week out. But right now, with 11 laps to go, Joshua Robinson is trying to win his championship here, the inaugural championship here, Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. That 30 has come on strong here in these playoff races. But here, coming off of 4, making 10 to go here in the Night of the Champions 225.
Here's what's interesting. We saw when we were talking about how Paulhemus needs to finish 7th and Robinson needs to win and get those 2 additional bonus points. He got passed by Brochu. Brochu got passed by Paulhemus, putting Paulhemus in 6th, and I think that's going to be enough to prevent Robinson from getting a tie at least. However, Brochu has 4 laps fresher tires than Paulhemus does, and he's kind of on his back bumper. We do know that Brochu's been struggling on the long run, so it's not guaranteed that he'll be able to pass him. But this is going to be a kind of short run. It's only running about 20 odd laps before the race is over from the time he went down pit road. So if he passes Paulhemus here, and then Robinson does have those 2 additional bonus points because he's really banking on the 79 having that incident point. Then that would be enough to be the tie. As I appear to have lost our secondary feed, so we do apologize for that.
Yeah, right now with 8 laps to go, make it now. Keep an eye out on Barrett Paulhemus here. He's our points leader heading into tonight's race. Me and Carlos have been breaking down scenarios all race long of what it's going to take for him to win the championship or Josh Robinson in that 30. Currently, Josh Robinson has the race lead by about 3 seconds. He has Barrett Paulhemus a lap down on the racetrack. We have 6 cars still on the lead lap. David Westergreen's 30 seconds off the pace, and DJ Weeks is 30 seconds off the pace as well. Next closest car to Josh Robinson is going to be Riley Marabella with about 2.5 seconds right there in the 2nd position. But here we go, folks. We're starting to count down the laps here at South Beach. Whoever wins this race will get to celebrate at South Beach, pop a little champagne, maybe party with Mr. 305 himself. But here with 7 laps to go, we have yet to crown a champion. There's no clear champion on the racetrack just yet. It hasn't been a dominant race from Barrett Paulhemus in that 79. Josh Robinson has done everything he can here tonight to make himself known, put his name in the mix for that championship as well. But Carlos, one interesting thing that I want to mention here that 23 doesn't show any intentions of passing that 79. I see him checking up on that back bumper numerous times here with 6 laps to go.
That's right. I believe these drivers are teammates, are they not?
I think so. I think Sam knows what's at stake here. He's not trying to put Barrett one position down. They're both a lap down, so passing Barrett here is not going to increase anything. It's not going to make your race finish better by just one position. Not going to put you inside the top 5, so you don't get top 5 points or anything like that. So I think Sam Brochu is very content with just riding right behind Barrett Balhemus here, making sure his teammate has that championship. And as you mentioned, Carlos, it's that 6th position that will get the job done.
You know, this is all, of course, pending that our math has been correct the whole time. There's a decent chance it wasn't. So we're not going to go ahead and immediately crown anybody a champion. We're going to wait until the official result comes out. Hopefully that will come out during this broadcast. I believe it will. But with 5 laps to go, I believe Roshu, he's been working. If he's not a teammate to Balhemus, he's been working very close with him for the longest of weeks. For a long time, they've been 1 and 2 with each other, battling each other out, but cleanly and fairly. Right now, Brochu does not look like he's going to be making a pass for that race lead.
No, not at all. Looks like he's just going to cruise right behind that 79 machine even with a huge run off of 4. He checks up behind that 79 machine. But here we go, folks. We've got 4 laps to go here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League season here. This will be the season finale. We'll go to a holiday break. As Carlos mentioned, this series will split into 2 different series next year. We'll be running the Xfinity car and trucks on 2 different days of the week, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So all the talent, all the drivers you've seen all season long here, if they decide to come back for season 2, you'll get to see them 2 days out of the week next year, and hopefully we'll see them on 3-wide TV as well. As right now, watching Barrett Balhemus with 3 laps to go here, he needs... It looks like he might get the championship. We don't know. We're very out of the loop up here in the booth. We're trying to do our calculations. But with 3 laps to go, throw up those 3s. Rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt, because we got less than 3 laps to go here. Make it 2 laps to go. As Joshua Robinson just crossed that line on the other side of the track. He's got 2 laps to go here to claim his first win of the season, I do believe, Carlos, and maybe the championship.
Well, with 2 laps to go here remaining, as you know, 6th and 7th place are crossing 2 laps to go at this moment. It seems very unlikely that Robinson is going to be getting that race, that championship win, although he will be finishing tonight's race. Should he win tonight with 3 wins this season, a very strong finish, as we're going to cross the lap here with 1 lap to go to finish off here at the Night of Champions 222, and what an epic race this has been overall.
What an epic race, what an epic season has been for us at 3-wide TV. Always been competitive here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. Maybe we can jump to Josh Robinson, watch him cross that start-finish line here as our race winner here. Our final lap. He has dominated here at South Beach. He has made Miami his home. Here comes Josh Robinson off this final corner, and he will win the Night of Champions 225. And what a win it has been for that 30 machine.
Get the kazoos out. Congratulatory kazoo for Robinson winning tonight's race. Really don't think it's enough. I think he'll probably finish 1 or 2 points behind the championship there. Once again, if our math was correct, as I believe Barrett Balhemus will lock down your first championship here for the Dynasty Stock Car Racing season. Finishing tonight's race in 6th. First driver, 1 lap down. Robinson first place. Marabello second. Bustills finishing in 3rd. Westergreen 4th, despite the fact that, Weeks in 5th, despite the fact that he had issues starting tonight's race. Balhemus, we talked to him, possible champion, finishing first driver, 1 lap down in 6th. Brochu 7th. DeBarro in 8th. Johnny Eckert spoiling the fun for Robinson and trying to get that fastest lap of the race. Same thing with Brochu. Which is pretty funny because Brochu also prevented Robinson from getting that bonus point for leading for fastest lap of the race, and also didn't pass Balhemus. Although it's possible that he just also couldn't. So that's 2 things for Robinson that didn't work out in his favor. Record finishing 9th. Lynch in 10th place. Early issue, first caution that I believe, and Buffoli DNFing very early on as well.
And we'll see if maybe we can talk to race control Johnny Eckert, the boss here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League, to see what the official results are here tonight. See who's officially our inaugural champion, and Johnny will bring you up into the booth. We're now joined by Johnny Eckert in that number 90 machine. Johnny, you're the boss here. You're the series official. Who's our inaugural champion here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League?
I'm actually working on that right now, so give me a couple minutes. You might want to interview one or two.
Yeah,
One or two guys.
let's do that. Well, why don't you go ahead and start tackling the three in second place finishers.
Yeah, of course. We'll get to that as Johnny's working up our championship results here. If we can speak to our third place driver, and of all of that, I think it was looking at those right now. We're looking at Jake Busto is going to finish third here tonight. See if we can get a quick chat out of that 74 machine as we're awaiting our championship results. Now we're joined by that 74 machine of Jake Bustos. In the season finale race, Jake, you finished third here at Homestead, Miami. It was a crazy race. We had about 2 or 3 cautions here, but a lot of moving parts there past those leaders. Take us through your race here tonight and how you were able to snag that third place finish.
Well, we went out and we started the first run, and my goal from the start was to make it a 2-stop race. So I started kind of clutching it about 25, 30 laps into the run, just making sure I had enough, and we were good. I think I was on like lap 51 or 52, getting ready to pull into the pits with DJ, and the yellow flag came out and it threw a wrench in everything because now everybody could make it on one more stop. And I came in, threw tires on it, and then I was kind of just chilling, I guess. I was running with Riley for a little bit, and then they pulled away from me. Goal was to come in, about 5 laps before them, try to jump them with the fresh tires, and just waited a little too long. I think I only came out a lap before Riley and Sam, and a couple before Josh, but they were able to pull away, and then Sam came in the pits and kind of just cruised to a third.
Yeah, and as we're awaiting these championship results to see who officially snags the inaugural championship here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League, Jake, you finished strong here this season. Of course, you weren't in those chase races there at the end, but what can you look back on this season that you can maybe build on for next season or just build on in your iRacing career?
I take a lot of pride in being able to save tires on a long run, and it kind of showed in some of the finishes this year, and rolling the dice and trying some different strategies. I took the win earlier in the year with that tire stop, and I kind of just put a nice little punctuation mark on the season, even though I didn't have enough points to make the chase to begin with. But looking forward to next year and everything that we're going to be doing over here at DSCR.
Yeah, and I was just about to ask you, will we see you for season 2 here in the DSCR? And I think we're going to be running 2 different series next year, the Xfinities and the truck. So I guess just the official, will we see you next year in either series?
Oh yeah, I'll be here for both of them.
There we go, folks. That 74 machine will be back in the mix next year in the DSCR, and I think he'll be coming in with a lot of confidence. But here we go, Jake. You finished third here tonight, and with that podium finish, you know the drill from that win earlier in the season. I'd love to give you that opportunity to shout out anybody that you had watching here tonight, and any sponsors that made this season possible for you.
I gotta thank you and Carlos up here in the booth. You guys always put on a great show. I love going back and watching them. DJ Weeks and the man with the plan, old Johnny Jimbo, big time Jimmy Jam Eckert, just running the show up here for DSCR, putting the races on for us every week. And gotta thank the viewers out there, and then just the other competitors. Always been fun racing with them this year.
Yes, sir. Well, Jake, congratulations on that third place finish here tonight. What a way to cap off an incredible season here in the DSCR. Can't wait to see you in season 2. Have a great rest of your night. Have a great holiday, and have a happy new year as well.
Appreciate y'all. Happy holidays. Take care.
Yes, sir. And that was Jake Bustos in that 74 machine there, Carlos, as we're still awaiting those championship results. We'll jump to our second place finisher, a non-chase driver as well, Riley Marlabella in that 52 machine. And Riley, man, you put everything that you had left on that racetrack here tonight. You raced everybody as hard as you could. You stuck that car inside the top 3. I don't think you left the top 3 at all during that race. I think you were always in the mix there. Take us through your point of view of tonight's race at Homestead.
Well, I just want to say thank you to all the boys at Spino Racing for being supportive of my efforts here, and I'm supportive of their efforts. But our number 52 Spino Designs Larson Land Toyota Camry was really fast tonight here. From the drop of the green flag, it was pretty quick. Had to save a little bit of tire because car was getting really free, as you saw with a lot of people, and we had a couple wrecks, unfortunately. Um, Sucks for those guys that did wreck, but yeah, I was getting free myself throughout the race, so I was just trying to save tires to not have that happen. And unfortunately, after the first pit stop, I just could not find a good rhythm, and I burnt my stuff off. And Robinson got the best of me, but it's all right because I laid it all out, like you said. I raced my heart out, and we tried, and still came home second, which is pretty respectable, I should say.
Yeah, great finish there out of that 52 machine here tonight, Riley. And we actually had an interesting conversation up here in the booth with Josh Robinson in that 30, racing you pretty hard there for that top spot. Were you aware at all what was on the line for the 30? And if so, did that change any kind of strategy for you, knowing maybe to back off the 30 or push the 30 a little bit harder? Or were you just basically racing your own race out here tonight?
Oh, I'm racing my own race. I'm still going for a win in this league.
Yes, sir. That's great. That's great. Great news, man. Tonight you finished just one position short. But looking back on this season, Riley, I think you were always in the mix there. Just didn't make the chase playoffs here. But as a non-chase driver, I mentioned it during the broadcast, you non-chase drivers, I don't think that really mattered to any of y'all. I think we had a non-chase driver win in these chase races. A lot of you guys gave it your all week in and week out. Didn't matter if you were racing for a championship or not. But looking back on this season here, the inaugural season of the DSCR, what can you take from this season that maybe you can build on in your iRacing career, and hopefully we'll see you in season 2?
Well, for starters, I can say that Robinson is one hell of a tire saver. I'm sure you guys can agree with me, but I've learned a lot about the next gen and the Gen 7, whatever you want to call it, car from this league. I feel like I've gotten a lot better with it since it's released, and since I started until now, I just feel a lot faster. I'm much more comfortable with being able to drive. I know what steering pinions, offsets, brake bias I can use, and I don't have to go with whatever other people say because I just know at this point now. Tire saving is something I've learned a little bit of. I'm not the best at it yet with this car, but we're getting there. And I've also learned about how to run Homestead, of course. This is a great racetrack. I love it. You rip the fence the whole time. It's great. So it's been a fun season, even though I didn't really run all that much. I know I had a second place at Phoenix, but it's okay. I was hopeful for the chase, but I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna make it. I took middle of the season off and came back for 2 races, and then this one here. So we'll take a second place to finish it out.
Yeah, great way to cap off an inaugural season here in the DSCR. My question to you, Riley, is will we see you in season number 2 as we're going to be racing Xfinity cars and trucks next year?
I'm not sure yet, but probably not.
I got you, man. No worries, though. You had a great run this season here in the Next Gens. Great run here tonight, finishing second. But Riley, with that podium finish, love to give you drivers the opportunity to shout out anybody she had watching here tonight. Any sponsors that made this race possible?
Yeah, of course. Sam Brochu, Bear Polimas, everybody at Spino Racing, Elliot Drummond, J.O., or John Owen Lynch, Ryan Hyatt, everybody who's a part of this organization. Y'all are great. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Y'all like brothers to me. Larson Land, go check them out on Instagram. They pretty much post everything Kyle Larson. They follow him. So if you're a fan of Larson, go check them out. Check out Spino Designs and Graphics. They can put together really nice iRacing paints for you. That's owned by my boss, John Owen. Also, go check out Elite Performance Industries for fast and quick setups in Open. I almost won C Open twice this week already, and we're doing pretty good. So check them out, racecpi.com, for really fast setups. And yeah, I just like to thank all the viewers for coming out and watching this tonight. Hope we put on a decent show for you, even though we really didn't have too many cars.
Awesome, Riley. Well, we appreciate you taking the time with us here, my man. Congratulations on that second place finish here tonight. As I mentioned, you battled all race long, and go have a great night. Go celebrate that second place finish. Have a great holiday coming up here, and have a happy new year as well, Riley.
Thank you. You too, Will. I'll see you as well, Carlos. Hope you're here.
Yes, sir. And that was Riley Marabello there, Carlos. And I think we're still awaiting those championship results. We have, of course, our race leader, our race winner waiting in the wings to be interviewed. But, Carlos, we have yet to get word on who officially won this inaugural championship here in the DSCR.
Yeah, and with no word at the moment, I think might as well just bring in your race winner for tonight, and Josh Robinson will take it away.
Yeah, we're speaking with the number 30 machine, Josh Robinson. And Josh, man, who would have known that you'd be partying with Mr. 305 in Victory Lane here in Homestead, Miami? You've come on to this last end of the season just really on fire, I would have to say, in my opinion. I'd say the middle point of the season, you had a turning point where that confidence just really infused with you. It's almost like Spider-Man getting infused with Venom there in Spider-Man 3. Like, it was a whole different number 30 machine that last half of the season, especially in these playoff races. You win here tonight, you get your third victory of the season. We don't know what the points look like right now, but boy, did you make it close there at the end. Take us through your race here tonight, and how are you able to put that 30 machine in victory lane?
Thanks, guys. Well, going into the race, it was 150 laps, and if you just went out and ran, you would get about 48 on a fuel run. So to not only save my tires, but to also save some fuel, it was just nice and easy. Stretched that first run to 52. Thought I was in the driver's seat for pulling home a win there, just basically on fuel mileage. And then as soon as I was exiting the pits, the caution came out, so that threw a wrench in it. And then Riley and I had some good racing, good side by side racing there. For that second stage, and then I was just able to keep that back end planted and get some drive off, and that seemed to be the difference.
Boy, you were fast here tonight. It seemed like in that first, I'd say, quarter of the race, you were saving a little bit, but boy, once you got on that gas pedal, you flew by everybody. Once you got up into the lead, your leads were anywhere from about 2.5 to 2 seconds. Of course, Riley did battle you there for a little bit in that 52, but it seemed like you saved your best for the last race of the season. Did you know at all during this race what was happening to Barrett Paulhemus, him going a lap down, 2 laps down at one point, coming back on the lead lap? Did you know about any of that, or were you just focused on winning the race here tonight?
I was kind of oblivious to what was going on. I did not know he had wall contact. When he pitted, I think it was like 27. I just kind of assumed that he was gonna do a very odd pitch strategy, which is kind of road courses. You do that. You'll, instead of pitting at the very end with a couple laps left, you'll pit at the beginning. And I thought that's what he was doing. And then we had that series of cautions, and I saw that he was still struggling a little bit. So unfortunate for him. Uh, it'd have been fun if he was able to bat it out there, because I know he was going to be fast enough to do that. But that's part of racing. Sometimes your race just doesn't go well.
No, Josh, but I think we do have breaking news up here in the booth. I think a champion has officially been crowned.
Josh, you broke my heart today by getting the pole. But honestly, that was an incredible performance, and I hate to do this to you, but you ended up tying Barrett on points because of that pole.
I thought that was the case.
And unfortunately, he got you on tiebreaker.
Yep.
So
No, he had a good full season, so he deserves it.
Yeah, you both were fantastic drivers this season. We can't thank you both enough for everything you've done. But man, what a show right towards the end. I couldn't believe it when I was looking at the points at the end.
Wow, and that was breaking news up here in the booth. And Josh, I just want to say so myself up here in the booth, as I mentioned to you a few times, I've mentioned it during the broadcast, you came on the second half of the season and just were on fire, like NBA Jam on fire. Like, you made 3 or 4 shots in a row. You just came on very, very strong. You didn't let the first half of the season discourage you, take anything away from you. Like I said on the broadcast, I feel like that Dash for Cash race really swung your momentum, swung your confidence to have the season you have. And man, it's a tie at the end. He gets you on a tiebreaker, but man, what's your thoughts about this run here tonight, this season in the DSCR, the inaugural season? I know it's a heartbreaker there at the end by losing on a tiebreaker, but as you mentioned, Barrett Paulhemus had a great season in that 79 machine. But what are your thoughts, though, on this championship run?
Been a real fun season. A lot of tough battles. Everyone, coming in, Tom and I were definitely we didn't know anybody else. We're used to running in some other leagues, so we had to make some adjustments. Got to race with a lot of good fast racing, and just thanks to those guys for putting on the league. It's a lot of work to do the management, to broadcast, to get all the announcements out there, to make sure that people know what's going on. It's a lot of work that those guys do to put this on.
Yeah, and Josh, as we wrap up the inaugural season here in the DSCR, what can you take from this season? Obviously, you can take an incredible run to tie Barrett Palhemus there at the very end. It was a season that I would say was a little overshadowed by Nick and Delicato with 6 regular season wins. But what can you take from this season that maybe you can apply to next season here in DSCR, if we'll see that 30 again back next season, or in your iRacing career in general?
Just more seat time. It's always good to race with different people. Always good to race with different cars. Always good to race at different tracks. And there's no replacement for seat time when it comes to getting faster.
Awesome, Josh. Well, just a couple more questions for you. We'll let you go here tonight. Will we see you in season 2 here in the DSCR? We're going to run 2 different series next year. We're going to have Xfinity and trucks. Will we see that 30 back in the DSCR next year?
I got to look at my schedule because Wednesdays are open for me, and I believe we're moving to Tuesday and/or Thursdays. And so I got to double check those. Right now, my Tuesdays will probably open up after the new year.
Alrighty, sounds
I
good
thought it was
to
the
me.
same day, or Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yes,
Good
Tuesday
deal.
and Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, there
Great
we go then.
news.
Trucks on Tuesday. We got trucks on Tuesday. Xfinity on Wednesday next season.
10-4.
Awesome. But Carlos, before we let I'd say one of the best drivers we've had all season, before we let him go for the year, do you have any questions for Josh Robinson in that 30?
I just want to say you definitely gave us all an interesting night overall. I was talking to somebody off while Johnny was explaining what was going on, so I kind of came back to being like you got the tiebreak, like you got tied, but he got the tiebreaker, which threw me off for a loop because I thought you had the tiebreaker with the most wins. But I guess I'll talk to Johnny after the broadcast to kind of get it all figured out, because I don't know where I went wrong, but I went wrong somewhere. Like everything I did was calculated, but boy, am I bad at math. But congratulations, Josh, on a fantastic second half of the season. You definitely wowed all of us here with your performance tonight and the season overall.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yes, sir. And Josh, before we let you go, my man, you did win the race here tonight. Not foreshadowing any of that championship talk, but you did win here tonight at Homestead, your 3rd victory on the season. And with that, Josh, we'd love to give you the opportunity to shout out anybody that you had watching here tonight, watching you win this race here at Homestead, or any sponsors that have been with you this season.
As always, thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. These are enjoyable. Hopefully we gave you guys a good show. Thanks to the League of Mids for putting it on. Thanks to my teammates, Tom and Andrew. I know Andrew wasn't able to make a lot of the last races here, and Tom was out sick tonight. Hopefully he's feeling better. But always bouncing ideas off of each other, and it just makes it a lot of fun because we're pretty competitive with each other. And then shout out to Paul and Dwayne. I know they watched a lot of the broadcast. And then if you guys need any computer parts at a good fair price with an endless supply, Micro Center is the place.
Awesome, Josh. Well, once again, from me, I think Carlos has said his congratulations. But once again, man, I think all of us up here in the booth, we got Johnny Eckert, we got DJ Weeks up here as well. All of us feel the same way. It was almost heartbreaking for Johnny Eckert to have to break the news to you, because you were one of the most consistent drivers there the second half of the season. You made this race very exciting for all of us. As Carlos mentioned, we were trying to do our calculations up here in the booth, trying to figure out what it was going to take for that 30 to get the championship here in the DSCR. Unfortunately, you don't get the championship, but you do get the race victory here tonight. Big congratulations, Josh, and I hope you can go celebrate a great run here. You're not going to come off as the number 1 guy here in this league, but definitely a very, very close second here, Josh. But we appreciate you taking the time with us here, my man. We appreciate all the effort and everything that you did week in and week out. Congratulations once again. Have you a great holiday here in less than 10 days after tonight, and have a happy new year, and can't wait to see you in season 2.
Appreciate it, guys. Happy holidays.
Yes, sir. And that was Josh Robinson, a winner here tonight at Homestead's. Not going to win the championship, Carlos, but boy, it came down to a tiebreaker after all these races, after everything we've gone through. It was a tiebreaker that decided the champion here in the DSCR.
Wow. And, well, speaking of champion here in the DSCR, I believe you have caught up with the inaugural champion.
Yes, as the Imperial March is chiming in the background, we see the red lightsabers down in Victory Lane as our champion is crowned in the DSCR, our inaugural champion, the number 79, Barrett Paulhemus. Barrett, you are our champion here in the DSCR. Take us through how you were able to get that championship done.
Uh, some incredible teammates, first of all. Uh, I literally could not do it without them. I mean, I I just don't know right now, man. That that race was just a whole roller coaster, and I was stressing the whole time. I didn't like that. I don't want to do that again. Oh, but I mean, we got it done. We
Yeah,
got it done. We got it done. So yeah, that's
yeah,
all that matters in the end, I guess. I don't. Yeah, I just. Yeah.
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 You got it done, my man. We can hear that enthusiasm and excitement in your voice. Looking back on this race, as you just mentioned there, you were 2 laps down at a point. You were a lap down. You made contact with the high side wall. The very end of the race there, Sam Brochu didn't want to pass you there, even though he had fresh tires on that race car in that 23 machine. It seemed like he was content with just staying behind you, make sure to where you finished, you solidified that spot. And I think with that finish, that's what brought it to a tiebreaker at the very end. Boy, I mean, this race just tonight, I would say, no offense here, is probably your worst race of the season with everything that you went through. But the way you were able to keep your composure and keep everything together to make sure you finished where you had to, my hat's off to you here tonight, Barrett.
Thank you. Thank you. It was probably, you're right, my worst race this season just because I made a silly mistake early in the race, even though I feel like I drove it the exact same way that I have been for the past 15 laps up to that point. But I mean, yeah, to your point, I owed it all. I owe it all to Sam and Riley and Jo. I mean, I would be down a point or two without their help. So, um, yeah, I owe all this one to them. Uh, they've been incredible teammates throughout the whole year, and I enjoy working with them every second that I get. Um, just yeah, super proud to be part of that group. Super thankful for them as well, and happy that that's all over and I can breathe now and I can actually get my heart rate to come down and all that stuff. And man, that was
Yeah.
that was really something. It was really something.
It really was. It was an exciting race up here in the booth as well. As Josh Robinson, we spoke to him just a little while ago. He came on fire here in these chase races in the second half of the season. Did you know at all what was at stake there for that 30 machine? He got to the lead. We were speaking about how Tom Ogle couldn't make the race. Were any of those calculations in your head before this race started, or were you just focused on getting the best finish you could here tonight?
Yeah, Jo wrecked out earlier, so he was like our our engineer in our ear the whole time. So he was feeding us calculations for the better part of the last half of the race. So yeah, I knew what was at stake. At first, I thought we would be fine because we had a big lead. I was sitting pretty good, and Josh wasn't in the lead, and I felt like uh, at least Riley would be able to contend with him long run. Sam seemed like he struggled on the long run, but he could definitely hang with him short run. So uh, just pulling for my teammates the whole time, and just being forced to watch that strictly from my relatives and just hearing, or my iRacing relative, I should say, and what I was hearing through Discord chatter about what was going on and not really being able to see was brutal because I didn't know what was going on. And I was fifth for a while at one point, but I knew that DJ and David were gonna pit, and they still had a set of tires, and I didn't. So I knew I was gonna lose a couple more spots. So that was really nerve-wracking. But we got it done anyways. So
You held it together. You got the job done here tonight. And before we get to Barrett's popping that Dom Perignon down in Victory Lane here tonight, hitting the beach at South Beach, Carlos, did you have any questions for our inaugural champion here in DSCR?
I need to know what happened in that first stage.
in that first stage, like when I wrecked,
Is that what it was? Did you get an incident point with that?
no, I don't believe so. But yeah, I was just coming off a two like I normally do, and all of a sudden it snapped, and I turned my wheel a little bit to the right, and it shot back to the right instantly, and there was no point, there was no chance of saving that. And so then I got a meatball flag, and so I had to come in to the pits and get it fixed, and it was only like a 30-second meatball because the toe link didn't completely snap. If the toe link completely snapped, then it was gonna be ball game, and that's over. But luckily the right front held up, um, and that's really another key factor in me winning the championship tonight, is that the toe link didn't bust completely, um, and it held together for all those laps somehow. Um, so
It
I
was a Kurt
was,
Busch moment.
yeah, exactly right, exactly. It was tough because I could hang with everybody for about 2 laps, and then once everybody started pushing like they normally do, I couldn't push uh much faster than what I was going, because it would turn all right um on initial runs, but it was so loose uh in the center off, so I couldn't get back to the throttle near as quickly. And then later in the run it just got worse to where I was like half brake pressure and still sliding up the track, and the right front just wasn't gripping up because of the damage, and then it was still really loose off. So it was extremely difficult to manage that whole time because of the damage. Um, but I mean, it was more than likely my fault. I just wasn't paying attention to it, what the car was doing. But I mean, like I said, I feel like I was doing exactly what I have been the entire race, and even just taking it easy, and then it still snapped on me. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. Maybe some RNG at play, but yeah, we got it done nonetheless. So none of it really matters now. I'm just happy that it's all over with.
That's good to
Well,
know.
Barrett, go ahead.
Well, I do have one last thing to ask. At what point did you kind of maybe get the idea that it's not looking good for you? Like, at what point did you kind of realize that the 30 was kind of doing everything right?
Well, when he was able to pass Riley and stay ahead and push as hard as he was without falling off, then I thought like, oh no, we're in big trouble, because everyone else that was pushing like he was falling off a cliff and almost wrecking the car. But I don't know how he was able to save that tire. I guess it's just super smooth. He's really freaking good at saving those tires. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Um.
I don't know how he did it, but yeah, he did it.
Okay. Actual last question. What was the first
Okay.
thing that you either said or went through your head when that caution came out when you were in the free pass?
Um, just yes. um, like I thought the first yellow that came out, I thought we were sitting pretty. But then Sam ended up getting the lucky dog instead of me because it was still during a pit cycle. So the second one that came out was really beneficial for us. So um, yeah, it was elation, because I knew I was going to be back on the lead lap. But at the same time, it was still nerve wracking, and kind of there was a sense of hopelessness there, but it wasn't like completely taken over because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to contend very well. And so I was just hoping for the best at that point. I was just going to go out there and do what I could, and the cards will fall where they're supposed to in the end. So, um, yeah, just happy it played out the way that it did, and uh, yeah, just went our way tonight.
Well, Barrett, you are our inaugural champion here in the DSCR. Boy, what a season it was. You come out as a top dog after a tiebreaker. But Barrett, I believe the floor is yours, my man, as you are celebrating down in Victory Lane. I'm sure everybody is waiting for you as well. All your teammates have made this happen for you. But Barrett, the floor is yours. This is your opportunity to thank anybody that made this championship possible. Sponsors, teammates, any family that you had watching here along this season. The floor is yours, my man.
I mean, obviously, I got to thank my team, J.O. Lynch, Sam Broshi, Riley Marabello, throughout this whole season for just being the best teammates, you know. Uh, and especially tonight, you know, it was like I literally could not do this without them. So I owe all of this to those guys. You know, they're a really good group of guys. I think we work really, really well together, and so we know how to sacrifice for each other, when to race each other, and uh, yeah, it's just a blast to be a part of that group. And Turtle Cove Apparel Company for being the main sponsor on the car, and Jo made the paint. It's gorgeous. We created it all season, and I think Jo's got some people watching the stream. So hi guys, we did it. So yeah, all of those guys, and yeah, it was just I couldn't do it without them.
Well, Barrett, a huge congratulations from us here at 3 Wide TV. Not only on one heck of a season, but being our inaugural champion here in the DSCR. Hopefully, we see you next season when we go to Trucks and Xfinity Cars. You'll be the defending champion in whichever season you decide to roll in that, Barrett. But boy, it was impressive. You really earned the nickname as Darth Vader with those races you had down the stretch. Tonight wasn't your best race. You still finished around the 6th position, but doesn't matter. You get the crown at the end. You are our champion here in the DSCR. Again, huge congratulations from us up here in the booth. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of those here tonight once we get off of this broadcast. But Barrett, I want to thank you for taking the time with us here tonight. I'm sure this holiday season is going to be even more better as you're the season champion here after all those weeks of racing in this next gen car. But Barrett, have a great holiday. Have a happy new year. And I cannot wait to see you if you come back for season 2 here in the DSCR.
Yeah, thank you. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir. And that was Barrett Paulhemus, our champion here, Carlos, our inaugural champion here in the DSCR. And you can hear it in his voice how much this means to him.
Yeah, it was stressful this whole race since he slipped up and made that mistake, but all that stress is gonna come. Has already left, and he's now in the very happy, relaxed moment. He just won a championship, and he's got all the off season to accept that and realize that he did something amazing tonight.
Yeah, he gets his Christmas present early as being the inaugural champion here in the DSCR. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank all of our season-long sponsors, including Pro Air, which is not an AC company, it is a medical supply company, Carlos, that's going to keep running all the way to the end of this season. Also, Manny Ray's, the cemetery landscaping company as well. I also want to thank all the drivers here in this series for sticking with us all season long. I know these last couple races, it's championship races. Some drivers didn't make it through. For racing with us week in and week out. I also want to thank our regular season champion, Nick Indelicato, for one heck of a regular season there with 6 wins. We want to thank Josh Robinson for putting on a show there at the very end. We want to thank Barrett Paulhemus for being our season champion here as well. We want to thank also Johnny Eckert and DJ Weeks of DSCR for having us here 3 Wide TV, giving us this opportunity to broadcast every race this season here in the DSCR. It has been an absolute blast. I'm sure I'm speaking for Carlos as well. We love the format in this league. We love the races this format provides for us, and boy, it has been one heck of a season for us up here in the booth. But here tonight, it is Josh Robinson winning the race here at Homestead, but it is Barry Paulhemus winning on a tiebreaker here in the inaugural season. But for all of us here at 3Y TV, we wish everybody a great holiday season coming up in less than 10 days. Boy, that came fast. Also, a wonderful and happy new year here. We'll see you hopefully back in 2023 here in the DSCR. But once again, it's Bear Polhemus as our champion and Josh Robinson as our race victor. Everybody have a great night, and we want to thank you for tuning in.